This is the X&C Podcast, your Xbox newscast, featuring Colteastwood and MAGG, hosting industry interviews and gaming talk live on YouTube every Monday night at 5 p.m. on the West Coast, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. For all of you listening around the world, X&C Podcast is available on demand on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Welcome to the show. Join the chat, hit the like button, and let's get into this week's topics with the Xbox newscast. Welcome, everybody, to the X&C Podcast. Mag does it. Yeah. Let's go. Welcome, everybody. This is episode 246, but most importantly, this is the 3-year anniversary of MAGG being the co-host of X&C.
Are you kidding? 3 years?
3 years you've wasted your life away talking this swill of video gaming news.
Oh, my God.
I looked back.
That's incredible. I had no idea. 3 years. That's unbelievable. You know what? Maverick starts right away. I was about to say, you know what? For some people, they'd be like, "Yay, that's great, Mag. Congratulations." And then there's going to be a whole bunch of people saying, "We want Gaz back." You're not getting him anymore because
no
he got kidnapped by Insider Gaming and he's gone forever.
It's been crazy, Mag. I was looking back
it's been wild. 3 years, dude. For real?
Yeah, I was looking back at my channel and I was like, when I said, I feel like MAGG, I don't know, I just had this premonition. Like, I think MAGG started around this time, 3 years ago or something. And I went and looked at all the shows and there was a major turning point on episode 94 when you started. I had you as a guest with Gaz and I, and so many people were like, "Oh, it's so good with you guys on here and MAGG's so great." And so it was March 23rd or something. Well, what's today? That's today. Yeah. It was March 16th or something. So this is the official 3rd year where you were on and I had you do like an origin story. You talked in the beginning about where you came from and where you're gaming.
Like that time I got bit by the radioactive spider and then that origin story?
Yeah, that one.
Okay,
where you were
I just want to make sure
the naked old Spider-Man of Doom. I just want to say a couple things and I want you to say something, but it's been awesome. I feel like the journey we've taken, it's been incredible because when you came on in March of 2023, around that time, Starfield got its big release date trailer. Xbox was about to completely falter with Redfall, and if I'm getting that timeline right, and then like everyone's excited, and then you and I went through the whole Project Latitude exclusives thing, and it has been so fun to sit here with you every week and talk on the phone back and forth about, I don't know, I think I've learned quite a bit from you because, you know, you play so much on PlayStation, you play Xbox, and then I do like a small mix of that. But I've learned a lot, and it's been awesome. So anyway, tell people how you feel about all this.
I gotta tell you, man, it's been awesome. But listen, I don't lie to people, okay? I mean, in real life, yes, I do. Obviously, when they're like, "Do you have experience in this field?" and I'm like, "Of course I do." But anyways, in the gaming world and YouTube and everything else, and I've always prided myself of not lying to anybody. But when I started this whole thing, at first I was like, I'm kind of excited to do this or whatever. And then it started. And then, of course, the pushback came from a lot of people didn't want me on the show and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, well, you know, I still get it. I mean, I still get it now, Maverick. Yeah. But like, you know what I mean? It's just like I get out there and I do my thing and whatever. And we just push through it. And the funny thing is that through it all, the last 3 years, it's funny to watch how we kind of evolved into something different. You know what I mean? Like it's not just about like, "Hi, we're here to report news and do stuff." Like it turned into like, it's actually like two guys that like almost like known each other our whole lives. And now we're just talking, like, you know what I mean? Like we're sitting around at a bar having a drink or having a coffee or whatever, and just like shooting the breeze about all this stuff. But the thing is, it's kind of cool is that the proper way to do things when you're doing something like this, when you're entertaining people, when you're on YouTube or whatever, you're on TV and movies, you evolve. Right. Yeah. And then I feel like if I went back, I'd probably be pretty embarrassed watching my first show going, "Oh my God, why'd I say that?" or whatever. Right. And I mean, I still do that, but I think that we've evolved and it's been really cool, man, to watch it like kind of, you know what I mean? Like change and grow and whatever. And then, and like all the people that have come, you know, that have been with us from the beginning, new people that we've met along the way. And it's been awesome, man. It's totally wicked. And then, you know what the thing is? At the end of the day, the one thing that, you know, people can talk about me, people can talk about you, and trust me, they do it to both of us, right? But the thing is, you know what, man? We're friends. and we're going to remain that way. And regardless of how we think, what we feel, what our views are in this industry or in our personal lives, whatever else, we're always going to remain friends, and that's the way it's going to be. So it's pretty awesome, man. So, it's been
awesome to watch you. Like just about a year ago, I would consider it officially a year ago, you started really making content, like really jumping on the horse, and you've gained 3,000 plus subscribers in less than 12 months. It's been amazing to have you bring people to hang out with us on the show, right? So it's been awesome.
That is true. A lot of maggots come by here.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to admit it, but I do tell my friends how grateful I am for you and how much fun we have on the show, and that I actually think you're a decent guy. But don't write that down or anything. But no, it has been pretty awesome.
It's already been clipped, so don't worry about it.
Let's talk about what we've been playing.
I'll play it.
And everyone,
I'll replay it in my sleep every night.
Yeah. Sorry. I was just gonna say I want to hear what you've been playing, because you and I've been playing a certain game. Let's get into it, and then we'll get into the news.
What, you want to just get into it? Let's get into it. All right. You want to start? You want me to start?
I don't know. We're gonna have like this knockout drag out fight about it. It's gonna be great.
No. Here, let me tell you. This is how it all went down. I'll tell you how I started. First of all, I wasn't planning on buying the game at launch. That wasn't a thing. I was going to say, let me just wait a little bit, see what happens, see how it kind of plays out. You know what I mean? Like, look at the feel. And then, of course, the fateful night in the middle of MAGCast, grumpy old fart says, you got the game, you're playing it, you got no choice. So he gifted the game to actually, he didn't gift it to me. He gifted it to my wife, to be quite honest. And he did say that. And he says, this is a gift for your wife. He goes, but you get it by default because you guys game share on PlayStation. So I got the game by default, and I'm like, well, you know what? Thursday night, obviously, because it wasn't Thursday morning. The game released at 6 p.m. my time, Eastern, and started playing it that night. I did a 4-hour show that night, and then 3-hour show that night, then a 4-hour show.
You haven't even said the name. You just keep saying the game. So
the game.
You got to reset.
Do we know what game we're talking about, folks?
Everybody knows. That's right. Think, but
that's
you gotta
right, Maverick. It's Crimson Desert.
Yeah.
Crimson Dessert. Crimson Dessert, as Maverick
Red Wolf
would say,
calls it. Red Wolf calls it Crim Daughter Dessert. Instead of son.
Crim Daughter Dessert. There you go.
Worst joke ever, right?
It's not bad. Okay. So initial thoughts and feelings. All you have to do is go back and watch my streams. I did 7 hours in 2 days, and I got to tell you, man, it's been a journey, to say the least. And what I mean by that is like, oh, wow, this looks kind of cool. This looks great. And then it starts off in the dark, when you start off in the dark in the forest. And I'm like, this doesn't look really good. And I'm like, what the hell's going on with the lighting here? It's like, as soon as I walked under a tree, I was invisible. And then I'm like, okay, let's just get past this. And then all of a sudden it became daytime. I have no idea what's going on. I don't know the controls and all this stuff. And then I'm like, this is gorgeous. I'm like, this is amazing. Look at that draw distance. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, you could see details on the top of a mountain. You could see, like, the spire of some kind of, like, a tower that's way in the distance. And you know that you could eventually get there and whatever. I'm like, this is amazing. It's amazing. And then all of a sudden, the controls kicked in. And then I'm like, what the hell is going on? I'm like, why do I have to hold L1 and then aim with the left thumbstick to aim at a guy's mouth?
Meg, did you do this at any point?
Dude, I swear to God, that's exactly what I was doing. And like when old people text, have you seen like when old people text, they go like this?
Oh yeah.
They're like, you go like to a movie theater or whatever, and the old people are like this, and they go like this, and they're texting like this. They're like, I'm texting my daughter. I'm telling her where we're sitting.
It's like this. They're going like this. And they have their flashlight on.
That's exactly what I was like. I'm like holding this controller. I'm getting like arthritis pain because I'm like L1 and then the left thumbstick to aim and then press square. And then he would jump. And then I'm like, why is he jumping? And then I'm like, oh, it's because I let go of L1 by accident or whatever. And then like, I'm like, okay, do this. And I press the wrong button. And then I kick like a priest by accident or something. And I'm like, okay, let me figure this out. So I get into this whole thing. I start doing it, whatever. I start to understand a little bit. I'm like, all right, I got this. Then I did the first puzzle. There were never, I don't think there's ever been as many F words on my channel as when I was doing that first puzzle, because I didn't know what I was doing. He's got like the Dr. Octopus arm where you're grabbing stuff, and and you're like, and it's like whipping it around like Zorro.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I'm whipping it around like Zorro the Gay Blade, and I'm like, like this. I'm throwing it around. I don't know what the hell's going on. That was a movie, by the way. It was a Disney movie, Zorro the Gay Blade. Good movie, by the way.
Okay, that's the.
I swear to God, that's what it was called.
That'll be my new nickname.
Yeah, the deceiver in the chat goes a lot of F words. Yeah, oh, dude, you should have heard. It was a tirade. Anyways, I finally did that. I'm like, okay, I think I understand this game now. And then I get to the memories, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? I put like the beekeeper mask on.
Be careful because I don't want you to spoil anything, especially for me.
No, I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm not going to spoil anything. Just memories. It's like there's multiple throughout the game where you have your lantern, and then I'm like, okay, I equip my lantern, and then when I go to do the lantern, no, he pulls out a sword, and I'm like, what am I doing? And I'm like, why is it so convoluted? So, anyways, whatever. Fast forward. Then I get to the next night. I Googled some stuff before I went to bed. I'm like, calm down. Let's just chill out. Let me just look up some stuff online and see what people are saying. Let me understand how this game operates. So the next night I find out exactly how to do like a memory, for example. So when you have a memory, let's say you go to an area, you pull up your lantern and you move it left to right, you see like silhouettes of characters and all that jazz. And then you put your stupid beekeeper helmet on with the 1930s Martian antennas like sticking up in the air, right? With the little slits for eyes.
You look like Martian. It looks like a Martian helmet from the Fred Flintstone thing, you know.
Yeah.
I told you, I said, I just put on the golden toilet. He goes, thunk.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's the Great Gazoo or whatever from the Flintstones. Say, hello, dum-dums. Yeah.
Sorry for that reference,
you can even
guys.
fit there that door, fatso. You know what I mean? Like that guy. So he puts on the Great Gazoo helmet, and I'm like, okay, what now? Even Dallas is like, laugh my ass out. He goes, you are so pissed about the memory. Anyways, so I'm like, what do I do now? I got the helmet on, and then I find out you had to do this. Okay, now this is all gonna have a happy ending, folks. Okay, just hear me out. So I'm like, what do I have to do? So I literally had to look it up online. Apparently, you have to put the beekeeper helmet on. Then you had to like highlight it with the directional pad. Then you had to like highlight it. Then you had to press the X button. And then it showed up a thing that says play. Then aim up, hit play, and then you could do it. And I'm like, 5 buttons just to do a memory that was in front of me. I'm like, here's the thing. And this is what I was saying on the Friday night after 7 hours. So we're going to fast forward. I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to spoil anything. But then we fast forward 7 hours. I'm like, this game has everything it needs. They just need to simplify. And I'm not talking about simplify because, get good or some stupid thing like that. It's simplify the game mechanics that you keep the flow of the game moving forward so that you're not bogged down with hold this, L1, that one, do the splits, do a double jump in the air, then do this just to say hi to a guy, right? So I'm like, let's just simplify the situation. I have played endless RPGs where you walk up to a dude, you press the button, and that's all there is to it. You know what I mean? Or whatever. Now, the other thing is, some of the graphics were on, at least in the first day or so, right? Brutal on the performance setting on the PS5 Pro. I'm watching this, and now this, I'm not like full of crap or anything. Okay, go to anybody who does whatever. Go to my channel, and then just watch the footage. I'm like, guys, are you watching this? Literally, the pop-up was 3 feet in front of you. Trees, bushes, grass, flowers.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we just go beep, 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 beep.
I saw like
popping up while I'm walking.
I saw a whole wagon pop up like 12 feet away. Yeah.
Oh, dude, it was insane. And it was just, but the thing is, when I was rolling over hills, you could literally see the like the graphics and everything like manifesting as you're walking towards it. And I'm like, guys, look, the rolling hills are literally manifesting as you're going over the rolling hills, right? I'm like, what is happening? And then the trees had this weird shimmering effect that would never stop, and everything was blowing like this constantly. And I'm like, is this the windiest planet on Earth?
Were you playing on? Yeah, it was. Were you playing on PS5 Pro on performance?
Yes, on performance. I was playing on performance. Yes.
Did you try balance mode to see if that was?
I tried it later. So hear me out, folks. So what I did is I took the weekend. I spent about another 10 hours playing it over the weekend. There were 2 updates then, and then there was a magical update that happened last night. Now, I didn't play it last night. It was too late before I realized it was an update. So I got up this morning. I made a video about it because I read about all the stuff that was going on with the updates and all that. And then I did the update. I played it this afternoon. I don't know what the hell they did, but it's a different game.
Really?
I'm telling you right now, it's just different. It just feels lighter. Does that make any sense? Like, it feels lighter, not so heavy and bogged down with redundancy. It just feels like, okay, I'm moving around. I'm doing stuff. I just walk up, like, for example, they fixed the memories. And you know, the thing is, too, I know some people online came after me, right? And I'm like, okay, you can come after me all you want and saying, well, you don't know how to play the game or this and that. Okay, cool, bro. But if it wasn't a problem, then why did Pearl Abyss go and fix all those things?
Yeah, immediately. Yeah.
Okay, they didn't fix it because of MAGG and one other guy. It was a widespread problem, and they knew it was an issue, and it bogged down the game. Now, the thing is, I spoke to someone this afternoon. I said something to him. I said, listen, it had the guts of an incredible game. It just needed to be worked on and tweaked and whatever else and thing. And they said, well, there's just little things. I'm like, yes, you're right. But when there's a game this big, those little things
they add up.
Turn into a gigantic snowball. It adds up. But you know what they've done? They're going into them one by one, and they're fixing all these things. And I'm like, this is amazing. And you could just feel the difference. It just, like I said, no other way I could describe it is it feels lighter. By the way, shimmering effects, not jazz hands, by the way, folks. Shimmering effects, gone from the trees and
That's
from
crazy.
the grass and from the... It's gone. And I'm like, am I nuts? But I'm like looking at it, and I'm like, it's gone, dude. They look like regular trees now. Fantastic.
Yeah, they probably had some weird temporal upscaling thing that wasn't set correctly on PS5 or on the console or on the Pro.
Okay.
I don't know, but
right.
I love the
not
game.
that bad.
Yeah. I mean, I'm playing on PC. I love the game. I got to tell a quick story.
Go ahead.
I don't like to pre-order games. I'll make this quick because I threw a huge fit online for good reason, but I don't like to pre-order games. So I waited until 3:00 Pacific to buy the game. Like 8 minutes later, after it was live, I bought the game, and I tried to, but for 45 minutes, like, let me be melodramatic. I've been waiting for the past year or 2 years for this game. I was just really positively, or what's the word, like cautiously optimistic that I just figured I'm probably going to like this game. So I was excited to play it. So, compound on that I was waiting a couple of years, or at least a full year to play this game after everything I'd seen. So when you get down to the moment where I can buy the game and install it at 3:00, and 46 minutes later, I could not even get access to it on the Xbox version. So basically, the Xbox mobile app, the Xbox.com site, the Microsoft Store, and the Xbox PC app, all four were showing not sold separately, that it was part of a bundle. So the entitlement was screwed up on Xbox. So if you wanted to buy it on Xbox and get it on Series X and play it on PC and play it on your ROG Ally, all with continuous progression, it was not happening. If you pre-ordered the game, it was fine. But once the game went live, Xbox messed up something. So for almost an hour, I couldn't buy the game. Once I finally did buy it, I waited an hour. You
couldn't even buy it.
You couldn't even buy it. Yeah, and I was really frustrated. You couldn't even buy it? Yeah, I'm going to tell people.
Where are you?
There might be one or two people watching this show or listening in that were like, Colt was crashing out on that Wednesday or Thursday. But the reason is I've spent the past couple of years reporting on Xbox's dashboard and PC hybrid experience over 2 years. And I know that if they don't get that right, when we go into next generation, we're all screwed. And so here we were, one of the biggest games of the year up to now, and you couldn't buy it. And then once I did buy it, the downloads are so slow on the Xbox app. Like Steam puts it to shame. Like somebody who works there needs to go, oh, maybe we should turn that dial up. But the reason why I'm saying this is Xbox listens to us sometimes. They listen to some of the things we're saying, and they need to know that these are problems. So once the game was available, I waited an hour for it to download. And then once I hit play, it would say running.
An hour.
Splash screen. Yeah, it was like ridiculous. Splash screen comes up, and I have 400 down internet. Like, it should have been quick. It should have taken like 20 minutes or less. Splash screen comes up, game crashes. Like, wouldn't launch. I'm on social media. I made this story longer than I needed to, but I told social media
keep going.
that all these four places you couldn't buy the games. Now everybody on PC, the PC app can't even launch the game. On console you can, but I wanted to launch it on PC. So I was explaining to everybody that this is Project Helix right here. This is their next thing, is to launch these games on Windows 11. So it was a major problem. So Holly, that blue number, was in a party chat with me. she was having the exact same problems. People all over Twitter were saying, I can't launch the game. Then get this, Mag. People were like, hey, Cole, all you got to do is unplug your Ethernet cable right when you click play and then plug it back in real quick. And Holly was trying it, and it kept saying, can't play this game offline. So to get to the end of the story, I got an immediate refund. I'm talking like 2 minutes later, Microsoft's like, money back. And I bought it on Steam, and it's been great. And then I played it over the weekend. And even up till today, people were still having problems with the game crashing or not launching on the Xbox app. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, that was kind of ridiculous.
I had 2 crashes on the PS5 Pro, which, by the way, that they also fixed on the new update. It crashed twice when I tried to fast travel. So you know those, whatever they're called, something abyss, whatever the hell thingamabobbies.
Yeah.
And then you stand on them and it goes, it sinks down, whatever. Yeah. So when I went to fast travel, it just froze and then crashed my system. I'm like, what in the hell is this? So anyways, went back in, did it again, and went to fast travel again, and it crashed again. I did it a third time. It did not crash. Now, the thing is, then I did the update. Smooth as silk. Everything has been just playing better, operating better. They worked on the UI as well. And
they did
they also they did some UI fixes on the game as well. So there's like a laundry list. It's like a mile long of all the stuff that they
and I had 2 lockups so far. I've played the game maybe 10 hours, and I've had 2 times where the game just locks up and I had to force close it. So this is a problem with the game across all platforms. And for people who are like, oh, Colt, was upset that he couldn't play the game when he wanted, I wanted to get that message out there that this is unacceptable. For I can't imagine how many sales they lost when people couldn't launch it or buy it on console, or they couldn't even launch it on PC. And if you got somebody like me who goes over to Steam to buy the game, where I wanted to get Xbox achievements and then play it on PC at the best it could be, and I couldn't do that because they didn't have their stuff in order. So of course I wanted to play the game. I was ready. It was my day off. I wanted to play it and everything. But the major problem is me being someone who reports on Project Helix, and Xbox has this platform that they're in charge of, and they had their heads stuck in the sand. They didn't know what to do with it. So I'm sure they were all scrambling, but you can't have something like that happen. Imagine another game, a big game like that happening, that's Play Anywhere. James Bond First Light is going to be Play Anywhere. And will James Bond First Light be as popular or as hot on the trigger for people to buy it as
Probably not.
Yeah, probably
not.
Let me talk real quick.
It depends on the marketing, but and of course the how it ends up on Metacritic. But
you and I again, I will, the same.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
I want to talk briefly about my experience. You were talking about yours. The controls.
I wasn't done with mine, but you go first, and then I'll finish. I'll end with mine.
We'll just keep piling on there because I'm sure there's a lot to say. There's 2.
Yeah, it's all good.
2 control buttons that are dumb, right? It's the run and the crouch. It's like, why don't you let us? So anyway, Pearl Abyss said we're working on a custom control scheme, so I'm sure that'll go across PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. So that'll be cool. But I'm already kind of getting used to it. But the sense of wonder and the surprising coziness of the game, I don't think you'd expect me to say that, Mag, but the game is cozy. It's got this beautiful, gorgeous total Elder Scrolls rip-off music. The game is beautiful. The world is just neat to look at. You interact with everybody. You can. I was coming out of the bar after I talked to that lady where you can buy stuff from her and buy recipes. Coming out of the bar and the door wouldn't open, and I kept walking forward, and someone was trying to come in, and I pushed him.
Oh, that's hilarious.
The game's just so super cool that way. But the combat
really
feels good.
Yeah. They fixed the combat too. By the way, they made it snappier, more.
Really?
Like more responsive. Yeah, it's definitely more responsive, smoother. The one thing that and I know they'll tweak it. I know they'll tweak it because someone's going to complain about it. When you're in the middle of a battle, especially if you're doing a boss battle per se, right? And you'd go to do the roll, which is like just you hit the button once to do a roll, you hit it twice to do like a slide maneuver, whatever, right?
Oh, okay.
Just
I didn't know that.
Dodge.
We got to talk about that too, the combat combos. So go ahead.
Yeah, and so like it's not that like so what the thing is when you do the roll though, he does like a stutter step and then rolls. There's like a 0.5 of a second where he hesitates and then rolls. And by doing that, like, I mean, I don't know if you're going for whatever. It's like, it's a video game. Just if you're going to do a roll, go do an instant roll. It doesn't have to be like the most perfect, realistic animation. Just press the thing. And they're discovering that now, that by putting too much into it, people are like, listen, dude, we like this, but like, you know, make it a video game for God's sake. Like, it doesn't have, you don't have to press 6 buttons so that I can, you know, throw a saddle on a horse like Red Dead Redemption or whatever. You know what I mean? And do all these like ridiculous little things. It's like, just let me get on the goddamn horse. You know what I mean? Like, just, you know what I mean? Just walk over and it'd be like, you know, Herpes, let's go, or whatever his name is.
His name is Herpes or something. Herpes.
Yeah, it's like Herpes. I don't know. I
gotta say,
because he keeps coming back. You know what I mean? He just keeps coming back. So I mean, it's the perfect name for him.
Double
his name is
he does. He just
his name is like Herpesius or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Poof, he just burns into your life.
There you go. Deceivers. Space Marine 2 roll for the win. There you go.
Yeah.
Epic Treasure. You call it see, Epic Treasure and I are like, basically we are kindred spirits.
She's really far into the game
word.
too.
I say the MF word. Oh, I can imagine. Like, she gets zoned in on a game, that's it. It's over. I think she actually developed Pal World with her mind, because she plays so much of it. She's so locked into it. Hi, Epic. We love you.
Yes, and, thank you for being here. I got to say something, Mag, before I forget.
Sure. Go.
The combat combos, there are a couple things they show you in a tutorial screen that pops up, but I looked in my skill tree and I had like 5 maneuvers that they never showed me in the game. You have to look at them and look at the button combos, and I've never played a game where they just like, hey, here's 5 things that you need to learn to use. Because I'm using the Y and B, which would be triangle and circle, where I just grab them and just chuck them. And then I'm using the heavy attack and the light attack, and I'm doing like the hand palm thing. I really, really enjoy the game. And sometimes I just go out and I go attack bandits, or sometimes I ride my horse around and look for things to discover. I'm doing these bounties, which, you know, like wanted posters, which are really neat.
They're so
and I've
funny.
done very little bit.
Your shoulder.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, you don't put them on the back of your horse like Red Dead. You're
I found
like
that out after you could put them on the horse. I just ran down the road and just dropped them in front of the guard and be like, here you go, dude. Give me my money.
It's great. Yeah. It's pretty good.
I've noticed.
I gotta ask you quick.
Yes,
did you do
go?
Did you do the main mission, which is really early on, where a guy challenges you in the courtyard? It's been on YouTube
I
videos.
did that.
Okay. I just did that, and I was like,
okay.
Wow.
Oh, dude, you're like literally chapter 1. Like,
because
I'm on chapter 5 now, so like I'm like way past that.
Yeah, I'm like 10 hours in, but I've tried not to do those main quests in the castle area, and
well, I was also streaming for 7 hours, so I was trying to, like, you know what I mean, keep the action moving a little bit. There was like the second stream, for example. Perfect. The first hour was exciting. The great missions, great stuff going on. You know, the story was semi-interesting. Whatever. There was stuff. You know what I mean? There was boss fight. There was like people I had to go liberate this area, and I had to go do this, and it was fun. And then like from the hour to 2.5 hour mark, it was the biggest slog in the history of the planet. It was like, okay, now you have to go over to here, and you got to carry bags of flour from there, and then you have to put them over there.
No.
And then you have to pitch a tent. And no, I'm not talking that kind of tent. You have to like literally get a peg, and then you have to get a mallet. I'm not talking about that kind of peg. Find a mallet. Yeah. And then you got to equip the mallet. Then you have to aim with L1, and then with R1, you have to hammer the mallet into the ground. Then you have to raise a flag. And I'm like, after an hour of this, I'm like, what is happening here? Like, I was freaking out. And then it just killed the momentum, right? It was so effing slow. And I'm like, you go up, and then you nosedive right off a cliff. And then I'm like, but I understand what was going on. You're still doing the 400-hour tutorial, right? But then I also found out, by the way, mining lumber, like when you're chopping down trees to get wood to go like upgrade stuff and whatever. Mining, lumber,
that should be less button pushes, don't you feel?
They did. They removed it. So now all you have to do is just hit your attack button, and you just hammer stuff, and you're good. And so they
somebody goes, what's a BT goes, what's L1? Yeah, in Crimson Desert you have to hold a bumper, which I can say across PlayStation, Xbox. Hold a bumper, and then you hit right trigger, but you also have to hold the bumper and aim at the tree to chop it, and it just feels like 2 extra button pushes. Like I played in Shrouded, where you go up and you equip lumber axe, and then you get up close and you hold a button and your guy starts chopping.
Yeah. Well, now they removed like 2 steps out of it. So now all you do is you just go up to it. Yep. So you go up to it and you just start hammering the tree with your attack button. So
dude, they're going to be on top of this, huh?
They are. Like and you know, the thing is, that's exactly what, like literally word for word, what I was saying on Friday when I ended the stream. I said, listen, you guys got everything here. You just need to, and I don't mean simplify because I'm stupid or gamers are stupid. Simplify it so that you're making, you're creating progression and momentum, because while doing all this stuff, you're killing the momentum of the game where people are like, what am I even doing? And I was one of them on Friday. So now I played it today. Dude, I was whizzing by stuff. All of a sudden, I'm like, I'm making like real progress here, and it's faster. It's more intuitive. Wow. Removing steps. Like I said, you go up to a tree, whack, and then just take the tree down. They also removed, by the way, 2 hits on the tree. So instead of hitting it 4 times when you hit a log, you only have to hit it twice.
You just break it once.
So now you go bang, bang, and then the wood's there.
Yeah, you knock the tree down. For people who haven't played, you chop the tree down and it drops it into like 3 pieces. Then you chop down and break it into logs, and then you can pick up certain timber for upgrades. And your inventory is pretty limited.
The smithy and stuff, and but I'm finding it fascinating. Like now that it's like opened up a little bit, and I don't mean opened up in the game. I mean like they opened it up and made it, like I said, with some momentum into it. And being able to remove all these redundant steps of like trying to do something. It's like, listen, man, I mean, I know people love realism and all that, but people don't need 4 steps to like get a log. So they removed all that.
You're getting a little bit of a taste of some of the survival building games that I've fallen in love with the past couple of years. Like Crimson Desert does a little bit of that, where you think you go to a smithy in the game, guys, and he's like, I can upgrade your sword if you have ore and timber and something else. And then you go out and you're like, where am I going to find timber? And you go to the trees and you chop them down. It's like, where am I going to find ore? And you look around till you see like these veins of shiny rocks. You're like, what kind of, is that iron ore? And then you pickaxe it, and then you grab that with you, and it grabs a little bit of that Minecraft and Shrouded, Grounded, like a little bit of that part without all the extra tediancy.
Yeah, no, dude, it's awesome.
It's cool.
And so the other, what I found today, I did 2 more bosses today. I finished chapter 5, but I've also did like some missions for like a lord in one of the areas. Don't ask me to remember the names; I don't remember. But he's like, "Oh, you got to go to the quarry, and you gotta liberate the quarry, and then deal with this whatever the guy who's running it." So I'm like, "All right," I went to go deal with that, and I was having some serious issues with it. That was another thing that they actually changed, is the balance of combat. So, for example, I'd be fighting. This is before the update. Dude, you got to see the list. The list is
I didn't even read the list.
Santa Claus's naughty list. Like, it's ridiculous. It's huge. And so, like, you go and you could dispatch like 8 dudes, right? With your sword. Bang, bang, this, that, boom, flip a guy over, do a suplex. Oh, yeah. Jump off the top ropes, whatever you got to do. And then all of a sudden you get to the boss and he goes like this. He walks in the room and he goes, Whew! Dead. And you're like, what just happened? Or like there's a guy named the Excavator. I won't say anything more than that for anybody who didn't get that far. The Excavator, whatever the hell his name is. Like the cheapest moves that I could possibly imagine. Then I found out some other stuff from some tips online, whatever. But all of a sudden I went in there and I'm like, wait a minute, they balanced this. Because his moves, he'll still have the same moves, but it wasn't like, it wouldn't cheese you like in a thing where like lifts you up in the air and kills you and there's no way to block it or whatever. And I'm like, oh my God, they did do the balance. So they said they did a ton of balance issues and not difficulty issues, but balance issues with a lot of the bosses and stuff like that. Now, the other thing is they also fixed the food. That the food wasn't giving you enough health. Like I remember at one point I had, dude, I had 17 apples and I didn't even get and I'm like hammering the apples, right?
Well, to be fair,
and I got less than a quarter of. What?
Yeah, to be fair, Skyrim, you can eat like 8 apples and 12 carrots and you might get half your health up. Like you would be completely barfing. But yeah, I noticed they did fix that.
Can you imagine eating 17 apples while we're sword fighting? Colt, give me another apple. Ding, 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 ding. It's like,
I throw it
that's
at
your
you and
17th apple.
Yeah, slice it in the air and then eat it. Yeah,
it's but they fixed that too, so you get a little bit more health there and stuff.
That's crazy.
It's certainly a different experience. Now, in terms of the graphics, I noticed that the pop up doesn't seem to be as egregious, and that shimmering effect, like I said, is gone. I'm looking at the trees. I'm looking around. The wind is not going like this, like I'm in a bloody hurricane every 5 seconds. And I'm like, they did something. And I'm like, this is totally, like, it's totally, I hate to say this, maybe sound a little bit exaggerated, but it is literally different experience when I played it this afternoon from when I played it on the weekend. And I don't know what the hell they did, because it wasn't that big of an update. But whatever they did, it was enough to
it was like
calm
50
the
gigs.
game down from the crazy, like, the crazy, like, whatever, all the stuff going on. And then, of course, on top of it, all the quality of life stuff. So I would imagine it'll continue to get even better. But this is the great step in the right direction. And I'm like, instead of like throwing the controller against the wall, which I was this close from doing until I realized that controller costs a lot of money, I'm excited to play it again. I'm excited to go back into it. Like, I played it like 3 hours this afternoon before we did the show. And I'm excited to get back into it tomorrow. I can't do it tonight because by the time we finish, it's too late. But like tomorrow, I'm excited to jump back in tomorrow and see what else I could discover. There's this sense of wonder and discovery that's there, that now that they've gotten over that hump of not crappy mechanics, but certainly mediocre mechanics that kind of clouded what this game could be, like the potential of this game. And the problem is, with all those technical aspects and issues and problems and controller stuff, it was clouding the guts of a quality game. It may not have the best story or whatever else, but today I was trying to find a fast travel point, right? And I'm like, where the hell is this thing? Because it was on the map with a big question mark.
You have to zoom in.
I zoomed in, and I'm like, there's nothing here. So I'm walking in circles. And I'm like, where is this thing? And then I look down. And
you're trying to discover it. You're trying to discover it.
I'm trying to discover it. So I look down, and I'm like, what is that? And it looked like there was almost like a valley, like a well. And it was like opened up. There was a little pond. No. Hear me out. There was a little pond at the bottom. And I'm like, what's down there? And I'm like, is there something down there? So I did my I did my jump, and then all of a sudden, you do the thing with the feathers, so I didn't die, and I fell down this hole.
If you're standing over like a 20-foot or 30-foot cliff, can you activate your feathers if you take too big of a jump? Or do you have to be?
Yeah.
Because I've been afraid to try it.
Well, because the stamina runs out so quickly, right? And I even upgraded my flying to like the highest level it'll go, at least for now. What I do is, if I do jump off a cliff, I'll wait till about 3/4 of the way down as I'm like sort of free falling, and then hammer the thing, and then it'll take you to safety, and you'll be fine. There'll be no fall damage. So you have to time it. Otherwise, you're going to splat on the ground like a sack of potatoes. But anyways, I jumped down this thing, and I'm like, what is that? And I saw like a little opening, and I'm like, is that a cave? So I went inside this cave, and I'm like, what is this? And it was full of diamonds. No, it didn't say anything on the map or anything. I'm like, full of diamonds. Dude, I walked out with like 20 diamonds. I'm like hammering this thing with my pickaxe, taking all these diamonds, and I haven't gone to town to deal with it or see what I'm going to get with it.
Yeah.
And then as I was walking out, I'm like, how the hell am I going to get out of this thing? I said, I'm going to have to fast travel out of here. I'm like, you know what? Let me start climbing. I'm like, let's see if I could do like a little bit at a time and sort of climb my way out and sort of figure this out, right? So I start climbing. About halfway up, dude, hidden from me on the ground and up in the air, there was a mural on the wall. And I'm like,
made by AI.
I'm like, what is this? I see what you did there, mate. And I'm like, what is this? And then I'm like, so I put the lantern on it, and I'm like, oh, then a memory showed up. Like, it's not on the map. It's not like a quest. It's not there. It's just in a memory. And I'm like, oh, by the way, so the memory thing now, when you pull up the lantern to show the memory, he immediately puts on the hat, goes right into the memory. No extra buttons, no bull crap, no going to the menu. Yep. You just literally put the lantern, and he puts the beekeeper helmet on, the great kazoo, and off you go. And it goes straight into the memory, nice and quick. No 5 steps to get there. And anyways, then it does a memory, and there's a hidden door halfway up this crevasse, so to speak. And I'm like, what's in there? And I won't say anything beyond that, but I'm like, then I found a way to open the door, and then I went inside. It's like this sense of wonder and discovery was there. I'm like,
yeah.
Okay.
It's been a long time since we had that.
Is this game starting to seriously win me over here? Like, I'm like, because I was ready to.
Because
like, Friday night?
We were texting on Sunday, I think, and you were like, no way this. Well, you said, no way this game's going to be game of the year. I'm like, I don't think it's going to be game of the year contender at all. But like, you were pretty, I don't know, frustrated, and you said, I'm going to stick with it because it's got potential. And
Yes.
I played it for about an hour today because I worked on a lot of stuff with work and then a video that's coming out tomorrow. But I was just playing the game and it was just warm and fuzzy. And then you get the fights. One of the things that's really cool about Crimson Desert, like, we haven't had this in so long. Like this sense of discovery. We haven't really had this sense of discovery in a massive open world. I mean, Dragon's Dogma 2 probably had that. Well, I was loving the heck out of that game 2 years ago, but which is 2 years ago today or yesterday was his anniversary. One of the things that really impressed me, I think this is kind of a dumb thing, but I really like it, is there are humans and then there are like goblins and then there are like ogres, and they walk around and they kind of live amongst each other. Like there's these
Yeah, it's kind of cool, yeah.
yellow-skinned ogres, and then there's green goblin guys that are like maybe a foot taller than most humans, or a foot shorter, I mean. And it's just neat to see like pointy-eared or tusk. You don't really get that in a lot of games anymore. I don't know what it is about the different races that just feel like you're in this super fantasy world that takes itself semi-seriously. But
yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I'm enjoying it, and like it's a different vibe from other open worlds. Like I've seen other open worlds that have, better graphics. Maybe not draw distance as far as that, but like, overall, you look at some of these other games. You look at even Ubisoft games. I know people will freak out, but
Ubisoft,
like you actually
Tsushima's, yeah.
Ubisoft, like even the Avatar game. I went back and I played on the weekend. By the way, I finished the Fire and Ash DLC. And I'm watching that open world. So it was kind of cool to like compare the two open worlds. And I'm like, Jesus, this is gorgeous. Like it's ridiculous how stunning that game is. And I'm like, wow. And like, there's no pop in, there's no anything. It's polished. But mind you, don't forget the game is also 2 years old and it wasn't polished when it came out. They had 2 years to fix it. So I'll you know what I mean? Like, so let's see what Crimson Desert looks like in 2 years. So there is a little bit of that. With more powerful hardware coming and all that kind of stuff, right? It could be even better. So I can't compare it at the same time. Ghost of Yotai, the same thing. Ghost of Yotai is a stunningly gorgeous game. No issues, no frame drops, no anything. Oh, by the way, that's another thing. I did notice that when I played the first time on the weekend before the update, when I went to the quarry, anybody knows what the quarry is in Crimson Desert, there are a lot of enemies. And I'm talking like 60 or 70 of them. Right? Obviously not at the same time, but there was a significant frame drop and it went down at least 25%. Like it was down to like 30 FPS, maybe 35 at most. And I'm like, wow, this is bad. And I did it again today. There were no frame drops. There were no frame drops. So I don't know if that's something they ironed out, but it seems like they did. But anyways, they're different, but this has a different vibe. Does that make sense to you, dude? Like, I played Ghosts of Yotai. I got the platinum, and I loved it. I love that game. The game is incredible. One of my probably one of the best games of 2025. And I'm like, this game is unbelievable. And then you play this, but you knew what you were doing. Like, it's like, okay, I'm gonna go cut the bamboo over here. I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna go over here, murder all these people. I gotta go over here and finish this area. But this one has more of a sense of discovery.
And there's a lot of people to talk to actually pick up quests organically in the game. And a lot of people might not like this comparison, but 40 to 50% of its DNA is kind of like, we're going to do what Red Dead did in its open world, like the slow mechanics, the heavy movement, the interactivity with everything. It does a lot of that. Does it a lot of it in a good way. I really like Red Dead 2, but it does a little bit of the Red Dead 2 thing. And I know some people are in the chat were like, I don't know if it's something I'm going to like, but it's just been a breath of fresh air. And the review scores this is probably one of those, there aren't many games, Mag, that come out during the year where everyone is waiting with bated breath to see what the review score is going to be, because they're not sure what it is, And Starfield was one of them, and this is definitely another game where people were super interested to hear what the review score would be. And it's I think it's landed at like a 78 or 79 on OpenCritic, which counts PS5, Xbox, and PC. It was review bombed heavily on Steam in the beginning because, of some of the issues in the early part of the build. But now it's I think it's steadily up to like a 77 on Steam. And IGN said that they are going to continue to review the game. I don't think they're going to change their score because they famously gave it a 6. And everyone's like, you clowns gave Veilguard a 9 and you're giving Crimson Desert a 6. But Ryan McCaffrey said that they're going to be continually reviewing it as the updates come in.
Right.
This game was meant to be an MMO, and they tooled it into a single player game. I think a lot of that they did in a really good way. It's just Cliff doesn't say a lot, your main character, but there are so many things that I'm 10 to 12 hours, whatever, in that I do not have access to. I want to change his hair. I want to change his clothing. I want to dye his clothing. I want to find different outfits. And a lot of the stuff, when I go to check it out, it's not attainable. It doesn't say, but I can think I probably won't be able to dye my clothing and the cloak he's wearing until much later in the game when I figured out how to collect these things, bring them back to the dye merchant by the river and all this stuff. So the game looks absolutely daunting from this point on. And if it keeps me busy for a month, I think I might actually be okay with that.
A month?
I just hope. Yeah,
where
easily.
are you going a month? It'll be longer than that. However, I'm gonna be going back and forth because I like what I did is I re-downloaded. By the way, this is unrelated to the Crimson Desert talk, but I re-downloaded because of the PSSR 2 update. I heard it's stunning as Alan Wake 2. So
okay.
I only played 25% of it, and I got so distracted by all these other games that came out. I was reviewing stuff for the channel and everything else and blah blah blah. And I'm like, all right, and then I'm like, I just don't have room for this right now. I'm taking it off the hard drive, even though I got a 2 terabyte hard drive. But I'm like, I'm gonna get it off of here anyway. I mean, Call of Duty and Battlefield 6 alone take up like 700 gigs. Like, it's ridiculous. You know what I mean? So, anyways, I ended up getting rid of it, and then I found out the update. And I'm like, you know what? I gotta go back and finish that game. I gotta go back. So I re-downloaded it. So I put that on there. I've got like 2 or 3 other games on there. I will be playing, intermittently with Crimson Desert. And then, of course, we got Pragmata coming up in April, which, by the way, is picking up major steam. Did you see this, by the way? 2 million pre-orders already. Or not pre-orders. Excuse me. My bad. Wish lists. 2 million wish lists already.
That's good. That's really good.
And I'm like, holy crap, for like a new IP, but it's also Capcom, and the game is, I played the demo on all 3 systems. I wanted to see how they ran. And it was phenomenal on all 3, on Xbox, on Switch 2, and on the PS5 Pro. They were, all 3 were incredible. And I'm like, I'm getting it day one. They sold me. They sold me on this game. More people are talking. It was trending, by the way, the other day on Twitter. A lot of people were talking about it, and it's picking up steam. So what I will do is I'll go and I'll play Pragmata, get the platinum, do what I got to do. I'm going to stream it on the channel so everybody can watch and enjoy and whatever else. And then guess what? Then I go back to Crimson Desert until Forza Horizon 6 comes out. And I'll go and I'll race the hell out of, you know what I mean? You race the hell out of Forza Horizon 6 for a month, intermittently throughout the month, and then kind of dip back over there. You know what I mean? Go do a couple of days of Crimson Desert, another 10 hours, 12 hours, whatever, 15 hours. Then go off and play Lego Batman. Go back to Crimson Desert. Oh my gosh. You know what I mean? Then go off to 007. Then go back to Halo.
There's Replaced.
And then back to Crimson Desert. You know what I'm saying?
Then there's Mouse PI in there.
Mouse PI's in there. That's right. And like, there's all these games. So like, this is a game that I feel like it's more of like a journey as opposed to, all right, let me bang this thing out and then just move on to the next one.
Yeah.
So it feels like the kind of thing you're going to keep going back to. But with them improving, and I'm not kissing this game's ass, okay? Because I was absolutely not giving this anything above a 6 when I played it at first. And it's not because I didn't know what I was doing, is because it was just not, when it launched, it was not where it needed to be. And I knew it was not where it needed to be. And clearly they knew it too, because they released 3 updates in the first 3 days. They knew that it was not the game that should have launched. It shouldn't have launched that way. And I'm like, no, man, I'm not giving this anything above a 6. Right? And when I first started, but now that's changing, and now it's kind of going up, and it'll continue to do so. I mean, even other games like The First Descendant, another one that I absolutely loved, by the way, free to play game. What a wonderful game. Came out kind of choppy. The game is amazing now, and I'm like, wow, what these guys like? It's Koreans, man. They work. Right? They work. They don't sit on their ass, okay, and then eat Niswa salads. These guys work like dogs. They get in there and they're like, oh, can you imagine the boss? Can you imagine like the manager coming in? And they might, like, you know what I mean? And he's just lacing into these guys and be like, get this thing You know what I mean? Up and running, because bad meta scores prevent a lot of people from, like, you know what I mean? Like, I could see it in the chat. A lot of people balked, right? They're just like, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait.
It's right on
and they don't want it.
You get below an 8, people are like, do I want to spend full price on that? And no, but
right.
when I've been playing the game, when I've been playing it, I've just been having such a great time, just thoroughly enjoying it. And sometimes I'm not really doing anything, but when these moments happen, I'm just like, I just get this really happy feeling. And you just don't often get that with a game that's like this big and this daunting. I want to read a couple chats here. We got you, Donnie. Thanks for the 74 months. Just hit the like button and it wards away the clap from Drop Bears. I don't know what he's talking about, but I have no idea
what he's talking about, but it sounds really...
Yeah, but do hit the like button. We appreciate you guys. Matt Kung Fu Hot Dog, thanks so much for the £5 super. Says, hey, Colt Mag, I bought Mind's Eye for 20 off of Steam. Can't wait for Copilot to hold my hand when gaming. What?
Say that again?
Mind's Eye for 20 on Steam.
Oh, Mind's Eye. Sorry. I was thinking Crimson Desert. I'm like, okay, Mind's Eye. Okay.
Yeah. That makes me think of Samson. For some reason, I feel like Samson is going to be another Mind's Eye. We'll talk about that later. He says, I can't wait for Copilot to hold my hand when gaming in DLS5 to ruin Gears of War. Congrats to Ecstasy. We appreciate you. Good old Game Seeker says, Mag, why did Mark Carney make upgrading to PSSR 2.0 so hard to do? Mark.
Listen, very much like Kami Carney, what he did is he said one thing and he's doing something else behind the scenes, okay, folks? So that's exactly what's happening there, okay? So Kami Carney's doing his thing and everybody's going, and then what's happening in the background is that Mark Carney says, we're going to hide the PSSR 2 update behind 6 walls so the common folk won't figure it out. That's exactly what's happening. If you want to know what's happening in Canada, that's exactly what's happening too. Anyways, all joking aside, I love the weekly Mark Carney jokes. They're actually funny. They did do that, and I think it was halfway through the week where I started talking about it. I'm like, guys, just so you know, a lot of people didn't get the auto update for the PSSR 2. You had to go into the settings. If for whatever reason it didn't get triggered, you had to go into your settings, check for updates, then you had to manually update, and then from there you had to go down to your screen and video and then activate PSSR 2. Like you had to click like a... By the way, the option to click on it wasn't even there until the update, right? Because I went at the screen and video, there's nothing there. I mean, other than the normal stuff, right? So then I go into the manual update section, went there, forced an update through that was sitting there. So that went through. Then I went back to screen and video, and what's there? It says activate PSSR, whatever the hell it's called, the long form. And then there was a square. And I'm like, oh, clicked. And just like that, the Thanos snap. And then it just changed. And then everything was just like, oh. So like I said, I turned on Alan Wake 2, and I was just like, whoa.
It's really impressive.
Immediately you notice the ray tracing and stuff, like even just like walking in the village, or not the village, the town, and you see your reflections in the glass of the cars, and it doesn't. Is it only available on the
Pro, the PSSR 2.0?
Only the Pro. Only the Pro.
That's pretty impressive, but holy crap.
It's amazing.
Thank you so
Resident
much,
Evil. So yeah, that was a whole situation. So I put a PSA on Twitter, and I'm like, hey guys, whoever's got the Pro, you may have to do this. And I can't even tell you how many people messaged me going, dude, I had no idea. I thought it was just an and I'm like, no, like I got no update either. And they all realized you had to go in and do that because it didn't trigger everybody's like update system.
Okay.
So whatever. Mark Cerny, what are you doing?
Secret, thank you for the 5. I appreciate it. Josh Duckwall, thank you for the 10. Says, hey, Colt Mag. Colt, appreciate all the content. And Mag, thank you as well. Congrats on the 3-year anniversary.
Thank you. That's wild.
Yeah. Meat Puppet with 45 months says, I blame Mag. Well, who doesn't? Steady Steve-O with the 10. I don't know what he blamed. He blames you for the Crimson Desert not working right. Maybe that's what it was. Steady Steve-O, thanks so much for the 10 and being a channel member forever. He says, I did have an issue launching Crimson Desert through the Xbox PC app, but after hitting the button the 5th time, it launched, and I've had 0 issues since. Pearl Abyss was verifying ownership via the internet. Well, Steady Steve's saying that it was on Pearl Abyss. I was blaming Xbox, full stop. I've never heard of the publisher needing to verify ownership on the side. When I thought once it comes to the Xbox store, that's all up to Xbox. But I've been wrong before. All right, I appreciate you guys so much. What a long topic to discuss Crimson Desert. It might come up again, but
there's a lot to talk about, dude. It's like the talk, like it's like
the biggest
such a
game
huge
right
thing.
now.
Like when I did my video, I said, this is, I know in a small way, this is probably one of the most talked about, most divisive, and most controversial games I've seen launch in a long time. You know what I mean?
What's the overall? What's the your overall look? Your elf eyes, Legolas. What do you think people think of Crimson Desert as a whole from like what you've been seeing and hearing?
Well, the funny thing is, I'm also gonna say this. There are a lot of people that I was wondering at one point. I'm like, did Doctor Strange put like a spell over the world? Like when this game came in, they're like, you have to like it. It's the best game ever made. And I'm like, have you even played it? The game hasn't come out yet. It comes out in 4 hours, and it's like, what is? You know what I mean?
Oh,
like
yeah.
people were talking about. Where's the console footage? And there were people that were literally losing their minds defending this thing. And I'm like, what are you guys talking about? You don't even know anything about this game. I mean, they know about it, but like you haven't played it. Yeah.
On Thursday, I put up a tweet. I said, my prediction for Crimson Desert today is going to be an 84 Metacritic. And I had a couple people like, you're such a hater. This game's definitely going to be a 9. And I'm like,
it's going to be 11.5.
I actually thought it would be closer to an 82, and it ended up being a 78 or whatever. And I was like, I think I said on the show last week, right? I was like, if it's an 80 something, I'll buy it. If it's not, I'm probably still going to buy it. And so I'm happy. I'm happy right now. One last thing I'll say, we won't even talk about it, but they had to apologize. They had this huge apology that had 14 or 20,000 likes where they said, hey, we had some AI paintings hanging up in the castles. We meant to replace those. Same thing happened with Expedition 33. So everyone, you really saw the people come out of the woodwork, like the anti-AI people. But I think the general synopsis of the gaming world was, we don't care. That's like if I walk by and look at a painting and somebody used AI instead of asking an artist to spend 13 hours painting a painting inside of a game on a wall that you might not even look at longer than a fraction of a second. I'm like, if this makes games faster, if you decorate stuff, because it looked like old AI. I don't know if you saw the painting. It was like some type of
I did.
Renaissance like era painting. It looked like you're on acid, but it looked like something Midjourney did in 2021. So I'm like, whatever. I think the most of the people were like, no one really cares. So let's talk about the next game. We'll dip back into Crimson Desert a little bit as well. And if you guys have questions, we'll be talking about it. But Starfield is massively huge. Starfield is, I will put it on record, Starfield is getting its actual 2.0. And Todd Howard said it's not 2.0 because if he said it was, he would be hung up by his toenails and lashed a million times for trying to hype people about Starfield.
By the way, that's what.
Yes. So I mean,
Keebler Alfie is very short. Yes.
If you're interested in Starfield and you want to know what is coming April 7th, watch Red Wolf's video. He broke down everything in like 20 minutes. He covered all of the changes that are making the game this final version coming to PlayStation. And I stand by, this is absolutely 2.0. People say, Cole, it's not 2.0 because it's not as great as Cyberpunk. That's not what the 2.0 was for Cyberpunk. They overhauled, added all these great things, and made the final form of Cyberpunk. And I truly believe this is what Starfield is. I'm really excited to play it. But not only that, Mag, it has absolutely topped the charts on the PS5 for pre-orders on a game.
That's not surprising. No.
Well, yeah, what are your thoughts on that, on Starfield's thingamajig?
It's not surprising. I mean, it's still excuse me, sorry. It's still a giant RPG. A lot of people have been asking me, they're like, Mag, are you going to buy it on the Pro? And I said, no. I said, I own the premium edition on Xbox. I will play it there on April 7th when the update goes in, and I'm going to give it a shot, see what happens. And you never know. It might be something that'd be like, you know what? This might be a Crimson Desert moment, but as it stands, you know my stance on how I felt about it. I'm just like, nah, this is not for me.
Yeah.
And I'm saying it as nice as humanly possible. I don't want to offend anybody, but it's not for me. And it didn't feel like I'm like, this ain't no game of the generation. But for some people it is, and that's totally cool. For me, it's not. But people are asking me, "Are you gonna buy? Are you gonna buy? Are you gonna buy?" And I'm like, "Well, why?" I said, "I already own it, the premium on the premium edition, not on Game Pass. I actually own it on Series X." I'm like, "I'll just play it there, April 7th, maybe April 8th, whatever day it lands on, and then give it a shot from there." You know what I mean? I'd just be like, "Let's give it a shot. Let's try it out and see how it all plays out." And so I may do that. Not may, I will be doing that, and I might actually stream it. I might actually have the balls to be like, you know what? I'm just gonna stream this and let's have some fun with it. And you know,
that might be cool. Yeah, that might be a good time.
So that might be a good time to give it a shot, and let's see what they did with it, and see how it all plays out. You never know, right? Like, you don't know. I mean, it'd be interesting to see. I'd be like, surprise me, Todd. Surprise me. Like, you know what I mean? Remove those googly eyes. I want to see that. We're not gonna get it, but so you know what I mean? Clip it along a little bit. Like, for me, it's not that it was just that it was too slow. It just felt antiquated. I know that sounds whatever.
Yeah, no, it's definitely
to me, it
not.
felt like an old RPG. And I'm just like, this feels like an RPG I used to play on the 360, not one that I'd be playing, 3 generations later. That's how it felt like to me. But whatever, man. Like I said, to each their own. I'm not going to insult anybody for whatever. I'm just going to say, listen, it wasn't for me. But I will go back and give it a shot. Now, as for pre-orders on the PlayStation, that is not surprising because the thing is, what a lot of people like to hyper focus on social media and YouTube is they focus on the 5% of people that are extremely toxic, whether it's Xbox toxics, PlayStation toxics, Nintendo furries, or whatever the hell they want to call themselves now. There's only but they're the loudest. Right? And they're the loudest, but they don't represent the silent majority of the people out there. It's just kind of like media. You look at media, they're like, this government is represent and whatever else. And then you're like, okay. And then you realize that they're basically like supporting like 15%, but there's like 85% of the population don't agree with that, but you don't see them on TV or hear about them or whatever. And I'm not talking about America. I'm just talking about in general. The silent majority does most of the quiet speaking, so to speak, right? And when you have 5% of people saying, Starfield's the biggest piece of crap, and I'm like, did you ever play it? And they're like, no. And then you call them out on it, and then they go back in their holes. So now you're going to find millions and millions of PlayStation owners who have always been interested in it, never purchased an Xbox or a PC, and it says, I want to play. I loved Skyrim. I loved Bethesda games or whatever else. And they're going to pre-order the hell out of it, and they're going to buy it. I think it's going to sell incredibly well. As a result of that, what we need to do is, for the most part, ignore the 5. Not ignore. I face some of them head on if they come after me. But for the most part, just ignore the 5% of the extremely loud, obnoxious, toxic people. And that goes for everybody, eh? So, people want to call them ponies. Well, guess what? X-bots are just as bad. And it's the same number of people. It's 5% of people. Do you know how many people I know on Xbox who are the nicest people I've ever met? And then how the nicest people I've met on PlayStation as well. They're not involved in any of this crap. They're just like, hey man, did you see the Starfield is coming? I'm gonna buy it on PlayStation. I'm looking forward to it. They're not part of the discourse of people like screaming. So I think here's my feeling. I think it's going to sell 1 million copies in the first month on PlayStation. And it's going to be I think it's going to be a success. 1 million copies in the first month.
Yeah, I think it might sell up to 1 million, yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. Now, I'm not sure, because don't forget, Soros is coming out. That's a big first-party title. And what's it called? What the hell is the other one? Returnal? Returnal sold over 1 million copies. So that's going to do well. You know what I mean? And so I think it's going to do well.
Mag and I make up 5%. That us to combined, our two bodies together, we make up a whole 5% of social media.
It's Colt and I, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. We're the most toxic people on YouTube. Just so you know. I've learned over the last year to basically I'll read a comment and then I just ignore them. And then I'm like, listen, man, you're not, you're just an idiot. And I'm like, you're looking for attention you're not getting from me. You remember The Simpsons, the Halloween special, when all the signs came alive? Just don't look. Just don't look. Remember they did the song? Just don't look. You don't remember that? When the giant, the donut guy started stomping the Springfield like Godzilla, and all they wanted was attention. And so what's his name? The guy came over and started playing the piano, and they started singing a song called Just Don't Look. And then all of the statues fell over because no one was paying attention to them anymore. That's exactly what that is. So I look at it, I'm like, oh, okay, dude. All right, I see you. I see you. Okay, Mag, you're a pony. Okay, cool, whatever. And so I just ignore it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I look at it and then I just carry on. I don't even address it. So the thing is, I gotta ask, longer, Starfield, I think, will be successful on PlayStation.
Okay, I think it will. I think it will. And I also think that, I think it's an 85 on Xbox. I think it'll probably score around an 86, maybe an 87 on PlayStation, because I think that's really what the game is. I love the game to death. I don't think it's a 9 or a 10. I think it's an 85, and I love it. You and I loved the 78 Metacritic Dead Island 2. I wanted to address Easy Does It in the chat, who said, I want Microsoft to prove me wrong. I want them to impress me. And he said he's subscribed to my channel for a reason, so he can hear the news about what's going on with Xbox. I like to ask, yeah, I know you're not hating, bro. That's why I wanted to ask you a real question. Like, what is it that Xbox hasn't delivered to you? Do you not like the games? Like, Meg and I have talked here on the show about how Xbox's games are great. They score really great, but they're not super popular, and they're not like zeitgeist, right?
No.
So
they're not talked about. A week later, they disappear. They're not connecting, and that's what I've heard. Is that's one thing Asha is going to be working on. I'm not going to put words in her mouth as what she's doing.
I've got a list of that stuff too.
Their business plan was set 6 months before she even took office. They already knew what they're doing, but it's something that's being addressed. Is that why are they not connecting with the community? And we're not just talking about Xbox. We're talking about everybody, right? Because a lot of their games have gone multi-platform the last couple of years, and it's like, why are they not connecting outside of Forza? However, this year it's going to be a little different. You got flagships this year: Halo, Forza, Gears, Fable, Call of Duty. Call of Duty's Call of Duty, but still, it's still Call of Duty, right? So. It's going to be a very interesting year, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Xbox has, I put up that famous graphic, PlayStation's put out 38 games so far. Xbox put out 38 games so far this generation. There's a 1% difference between the review scores.
Like 38 and 38?
38 and 38.
Get out of here. That's crazy.
And so
I had no idea.
It might be 38, 39 because I think I'm trying to remember. I think I got the last PlayStation game in there. But there's like a 1% difference. Like Xbox has a 1% advantage in the reviews. So I'd ask, like Easy was like saying, we need the console wars. And this is a kind of a big argument that happens a lot where people say, we need the console wars. We need exclusives to compete. And what I've tried to explain to people, and I like to get Mag's take on this because I know we kind of have a different idea, but to me, the exclusives compete solely for the purpose of Xbox or PlayStation to sell more consoles. Because I truly believe that Naughty Dog's games are not so incredible because they have to bend to their master and help them sell more consoles. I truly believe that Naughty Dog's Uncharted series or The Last of Us is the best game they could possibly make because they want to make the best game that's ever been made. And if you think exclusives are higher in quality because they're pushed in the competition to help sell consoles or to serve their master of their platform, then explain why Grand Theft Auto 6 and 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2 or Expedition 33 or like just name every big high-rated game that gets Game of the Year nominations. Why are those so amazing if they're not trying to serve the competition of exclusives? Now, I've been there for many years saying, hey, look, Xbox has Starfield and you don't have this, because that was the life we lived in. But also, after a while, you're like, how long have I been doing this where exclusives don't matter to me? Because when someone says, I get to play Forza Horizon 6 on my PS5 Pro, I've always been able to say, great. Because there's been so many games that Xbox put on other platforms. Like nothing's changed for me. But Meg, what's your take on the we need the console war?
I mean, competition is always healthy because competition breeds excellence. However, and that will continue. It's just going to continue in a different way. The landscape for half of the industry is changing. The other half is staying exactly the same as it always will be. Nintendo and Sony will continue to do what they do. That's their business model. It works for them. They're making a lot of money. Great. Microsoft went down a different road for multiple reasons, multiple change of hands of people in power, different ideas. Microsoft sticking their nose in the business, and then from the Xbox One generation and on, and that's where things kind of went haywire because there was too many cooks in the kitchen, and messaging got screwed up and all kinds of stuff. And now they found themselves in a muddled mess, which is exactly where they ended up, in a mess. And I think that's why they brought in an outsider. That's why they brought in an outsider, so to speak. They didn't bring it. They could have hired 1 million industry insiders to work at Xbox, but they chose Asha Sharma. Why? Is because she doesn't know video games. She knows business. So she's not going to look at it from a biased point of view. She's going to look at it from an objective point of view and say, what the hell is going on here? What are we doing? You know what I mean? Let's focus on building the business further on beyond that. So they're doing their own thing. Steam is doing their thing. Now, if everything that they say is going to happen, we're going to have Steam on the Helix, well, then they're part of the accessibility crowd, right? So you've got the one side having the accessibility options, which would be Steam and Xbox, and on the other side, you got Sony and Nintendo. I think that they will all continue to thrive, but once again, at the end of the day, I know it sounds preachy because I always say it, is that it all comes down to compelling software that will bring people there. Now, compelling software will always do that. The problem is, the only problem I could foresee with Microsoft in the future is if they continue to have compelling software like this year is going to be a very telling year. What's going to happen after that is you do not have affordable hardware beyond this generation. You're not going to, so now you're locking people out of it. So people are going to say, well, I want to play that game. And they're like, well, you could do it from cloud. You could do it from this. You could do it from that. You could do that, or you can go buy a PlayStation. And then 9 times out of 10, they'll just go, well, I'll just go buy a PlayStation because I could play their games and I could play your games. And so a lot of people will go there. Microsoft will sort of bend the knee and say, who gives a crap anyway? We're making 70% publishing off of this. We're making billions of dollars. Xbox survives and it'll continue. Eddie Garcia said it in the chat a little earlier. Every dollar that's made on PlayStation helps Xbox. And it's totally true. And as that continues to go on,
and vice versa,
you know what's going to happen? Dude, Starfield is going to help fund. If they sell 1 million copies, let's just say, okay, like I was thinking in the first month. Let's say they sell 1 million copies over there in PlayStation. Okay, every dollar of that goes to Elder Scrolls 6.
I mean, that could be a quarter.
Right? Not every dollar, but
that could be a quarter of Elder Scrolls 6's development money. And
that's what I'm saying. It helps to keep everything going. If Gears of War E-Day does incredibly well on PlayStation, guess what? That funds Gears of War E-Day 2 or whatever the hell it's going to be called, and on and on and on. And that's what it does, because now they have this publishing, funding, whatever. However, that wasn't really part of the question. The only reason, the answer to your question. The problem is I can't give you a straight answer because there's no longer a straight road for that half of the industry. The other side of the industry is so simple. You buy it as you buy a Switch, you buy Switch games, and that's it. From what we heard about what's going on with PlayStation and PC, looks like you're only going to be playing, if you want their games, you're going to have to buy a PlayStation. Xbox and Steam, you could pretty much access anywhere at this point, right? And they're all successgoing. So I don't think that there is the traditional competition anymore in terms of who's going to outdo this one, who's going to outsell this one. It's no longer going to be a thing. I like at this point, I think the only people that are left doing it, I think, are actually the fans are still there, and the console warriors are the guys still fighting, but the companies aren't. The companies are in talks with each other. Yeah. By the way, just so you know, how Microsoft knows the release window. I already know because I talked to someone. Anyway, I'm not gonna get into that. But like the Microsoft executives know because Sony is in communication with them, letting them know when they plan on releasing the PlayStation 6. And the reason for that is not by the way, we're releasing it in September. So buckle up, losers. It's not like that kind of thing. They do that because they're like, you're publishing all your games for us now. That's going to help me and it's going to help you. Here's the window for your developers. So it's no longer the same fight, so to speak. It's not like the Nintendo and Sega days, right? Where they hated each other. They're working in cahoots. The only idiots that are fighting with each other are on Twitter and occasionally in the comment section. Not this comment section. I just like in the comment section of YouTube videos, which are basically the same people.
Yeah.
They're in cahoots with each other. They're all there to make money and laugh at you clowns while they're buying houses in Malibu and driving around Bugattis. You know what I mean? Like, get real, guys. You know what I say? This is what I say. Go to where you're enjoying yourself. Go where you're having fun and buy the software and hardware that's making you happy. How hard is this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, people make it seem like it's like a life and death decision. Just go where you're having fun, enjoy yourself, and enjoy the software they supply you. Like, how hard is that? And if if it's not good, then don't play it.
Yeah, and the problem that a lot of people, like, the loud minority is such a fact because not everyone is on console. And we always get in this rut where we feel like everyone is like, I'm getting a Switch, a PlayStation, and I'm probably not getting an Xbox. Like, that's a reality that people will say, and they've got their like their username has their favorite console in it, or their profile picture is their favorite, exclusive game character.
Because
but that's not the reality.
Will never go away, dude.
The reality
Tribalism will never go away because we watch sports. We listen to our favorite music. It's always like metalheads used to be against like the hip hop guys back in the 90s and this and that, blah, 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 blah. And on and on and on. And like all these different things. And like, it's not, you know what I mean? It's like sports, like I said, sports teams, Blue Jays, Seattle Mariners, this and that, whatever.
And it's fine.
It's no longer.
Yeah, it's fine to wave your colors and say, no one's going to buy the Xbox. You can say that till you're blue in the face. But the reality is Capcom, Square, Take-Two, the biggest publishers on the planet are now telling you publicly, straight to your face, that PC is the lead platform. And if you look at the charts that show where everyone's playing games, they're all on mobile and PC. And then you've got this small subset of people who are on console. And PlayStation knows this, and they're going to be making changes because they were selling their games on PC. Now they're going to pull back their single player games, but all of their multiplayer games are going to go on PC, some of them even on Xbox. So it's really crazy the mixed messaging is coming from both Xbox and PlayStation. The reality is that PC is where most everyone is, and the remainder of us are on console. I play half of my games on console, half of them on PC. And next generation Xbox's whole push is going to be like, we're going to offer you more games you could ever have on any PC device ever, all of your console games and everything that PC offers. I want to cover this stuff that Asha Sharma said. Let me put in this timestamp here. I'll grab a couple quick questions. Hopefully they don't derail me. Okay. So Asha Sharma, supposedly, I could not find an actual report of this. So I'm going to say this as a supposed thing because I don't believe it. But apparently the CCO of Netflix and Asha Sharma have spoken. I found it's absolutely zero talk of this, but the Netflix CEO, Greg Peters, had some really nice things to say about Asha Sharma and how she was coming, just like MAGG said a minute ago, how she's coming in and she's not looking at this gamer. She's going to fix the brand. And if you've been watching the Xbox news, Asha Sharma basically came in and goes, all right, what has everyone been asking for? What are you working on? What's not delivered? And they're like, they've been asking for 6 years for quick resume to be toggled off. She's like, go do that and ship it. What are you doing? Because they made massive updates to the dashboard. They made some quality of life things for the console. Here's what was reported. This report says Asha Sharma was profiled in her vision for a restored Xbox. She is already scrapping old marketing campaigns that irked Xbox staff and loyalists. Being, before I get into that, let me read this real quick. Donnie thinks of the two. He just jokes, says, Mag, why are you gushing over the PSSR2? Drink water. Donnie, we would wish we had something like that on Xbox. Like, it is incredibly amazing. Neil B, thank you for joining the channel membership again. Red Wolf, thanks for the 5, says, we, the peeps on the internet, are absolutely in the minority in this industry. We are in the know, whereas the casuals are just excited to play new stuff. Thank you, Red Wolf. And I would add, play new stuff wherever they want, because that is what the reality is. Megan, you covered that really well. Let me get back to this Asha Sharma thing. Says, scrapping old marketing campaigns that irked Xbox staff and loyalists. Meg, what is this? Because I think you have hinted about this. Scrapped old campaigns. Scrapping old marketing campaigns that irked
marketing campaigns.
Xbox staff and loyalists. Because remember, your you have like this supposed insider that said that there was stuff that Xbox was marketing and people at inside Xbox were like, what the crap is this? Speak on it.
Yeah, there was a whole lot of that. But there was a lot of marketing issues that are going on. Like even Obsidian is having a lot of issues with marketing as well with their games, and they're not happy with it and everything else. Now that's a whole different thing. That's marketing software. What you're talking about is marketing the brand. Marketing the brand is going to change. The business plan won't. The business plan remains the same. And it's been made very clear. And then she was not sent in there to completely change and overhaul everything. She's there to laser focus on what's not working. That's a different thing than changing a business plan, because they're like, no, we're going down this road. You need to fix the potholes in the road. But we're not changing the direction. We're just, you need to fix the potholes and make sure that we can cross over safely is basically what I'm trying to say. So there's a lot of that. Like, for example, they're changing that this is an Xbox, but in the same breath, if you listen to Asha Sharma very carefully and you read her words or whatever else, she also talks about, as I've talked about here on this show and on mine, we are bringing the experience to you one way or another with through multiple avenues of access and all this other stuff. Nothing has changed. The business plan is not changing. It's just going to be wrapped up in a different package and maybe addressed differently. I think that it's going to be attacked in a different way, but certainly the direction they're going is not changing.
Well, they did get rid of this is an Xbox and no console required.
Sure, but that's just marketing.
They wiped it. Yeah. So,
but they're still doing it.
She said we're going to meet players. Yeah, she said we're going to meet players where they are. But
they are, which means access to everything that they were doing before.
Isn't it interesting that, and I would think this was one of the things she did, was to get rid of what was ruining the goodwill of the core audience. And we were talking about, the loud minority. The core audience of Xbox didn't like this is an Xbox. I didn't like it. And they're trying to, this article or this report talks about Asha trying to return that vision. It says they've been kicking around subscription ideas with the Netflix CEO, Greg Peters. Now, I don't believe this because I couldn't find, I did a Google search, I did an AI search. I found an article from theinformation.com that is a $250 paywall, so I couldn't read it. But even AI said it was heavily paywall, but there was no trace on the internet about them working out a deal with Netflix. I could see Xbox saying,
I haven't heard anything of that.
Yeah, I haven't either, but I'm like, is it possible that Xbox is saying, hey, what does it take to get a bundle with Game Pass and Netflix? I mean, it's not even far-fetched to think for a certain price you can get a premium Netflix tier that comes with Game Pass. And maybe they're trying to do something. Here's the other thing she says. She is promising the staff that she won't force AI slop. We've heard this before. She said it in her own opening statements, but even Satya Nadella and the AI team have pulled back their AI initiative just this past couple of days, where they're trying to remove some of the Copilot features and some of the strong, aggressive move toward consumer-grade AI. I didn't read into a lot of this, but it sounds like Satya is starting to get the clue that people don't want AI unless they ask for AI. The last thing is
they don't force it. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well,
yeah,
we'll talk about that. Well, no, you finish the thing and then we'll address the stuff.
You're continuing what I'm saying.
They never really force. I mean, they're forcing it in your face whenever you load something up or you download a new product from Microsoft, but you do have the option to turn it off. At least there is that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm certainly not defending it, but like it's like you open your closet door and all of a sudden, like, would you like Copilot to help you with find your socks? And I'm like, no, leave me alone. And you can turn it off. So at least there's that. Until one day they nefariously force us to use it without our consent. But as it stands right now, they're still giving consent. So there is that. I'll give them that. That's all I'm giving them, though. Not giving them an inch.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that last week at the end of the show, how I've got Copilot on my PC and I don't use it unless I click it on. It's like, unless I open it and say, let's do something. But yeah, I mean, people have a real big aversion to AI. I think they just don't want it there without asking. And it sounds like Satya is starting to kind of key in on like, hey, maybe we need to make this stuff, put it underneath one skin level, and so people don't have to touch it. And I respect that. I think that's important. Glizner, thank you so much for the 5. Says NVIDIA profits more from AI than they do GPUs. Yeah, maybe at this point. He says, so AI is their focus. Also, interrupt Glizner's chat super. Even Jensen Huang from NVIDIA has started to say, hey, maybe we went a little heavy with the DLSS 5. We're trying to listen to the consumers, because once your people uprise the pitchforks, that you start to see the money go down. So he says, Glizner says, if Microsoft profits more from publishing, why not focus on that and skip new hardware? Because Xbox hardware is essential to the continuation of Xbox into the 2030s. This is me speaking. I truly believe that Xbox knows that part of their reach is cloud, PC, games, and then a console and probably a handheld. And I think that they're like, let's at least push into the 2030s with Project Helix, and then we'll see where it goes from there. We're probably out by then, but like I said many times, I said this years ago on my videos, when we get into around the 2035 era of our lifetime, consoles may completely diminish. They may become the Blu-rays of last decade, where we're like, yeah, it was great when we collected those. Oh yeah, I miss popping those in and doing that, but I don't do that anymore, because we're all streaming and we love streaming. And if you have discs, you love those. But yeah, I just think that Xbox is focusing on hardware one last push, because I think the world in the next 8 years is going to change massively. So thank you, Glizner, for that super. Mag, the last thing was Asha is bringing Xbox into competition. This is apparently one of Asha's big initiatives with the Xbox brand to bring them back into a very competitive era. And I was talking to a friend last night that said, I've said this briefly last week, but I could totally see them buying Valve and just be done. Like, get Valve. Apparently the reports or the rumors are that Asha wants to make more acquisitions or more purchases to grow the Xbox division, whether that means buying more studios or getting another publisher like Sega. That has really been kicked around lately. Jez Corden has even kind of like, side-eyed the idea of Xbox purchasing Sega. I don't know what that does for the brand. That doesn't really do anything for me, because most Sega games I don't play anymore, but it would be a huge money maker. I think that Xbox is looking to just have all this stuff that they own, that they can make money off of, that they can offer to their customers. So what does that mean to you, Mag, that she wants to be more in the competition space? Because they were laying back for a while.
Well, not that far a while. I mean, they just bought 80 ABK in Bethesda. I mean, for $80 billion combined. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to be buying anything else. I don't even think the regulators would allow them to buy anything else beyond that point. It wouldn't put them in a monopoly, but there would be a lot. I mean, there was already enough pushback with ABK. Valve, out of the question. Santa Claus ain't giving that up. And then if anything, we'll see what happens when he decides to actually retire. Sega wouldn't move the needle, because Sega is, Sega has a lot of live service games that still do incredibly well, making a lot of money over there. But again, if you do something like that, you're going to be making the same mistakes you made with ABK. What that is that you're purchasing something to make more money, but taking on a massive burden, a financial burden that you're not actually making as much money as you think, because you got to pay for all that stuff. You got to pay for the licensing, the staff, the buildings, the rent, the overhead of running like all those studios. I think they're done with acquisitions. I think what's going to happen is they're going to focus. I think they're going to start laser focusing on the quality of their software. That's what I'm thinking is what the thing is. Now, I'm not saying that the quality's not there. What I'm saying is, how they're going to gear things towards, no pun intended, how they're going to gear things towards mass audiences for in terms of the zeitgeist conversations and acceptance from the mass audience. Because like I said, one of the biggest things that they're having an issue with, which has been discussed several times and are now being looked at, is why are the games not connecting with the community? Now, we're talking about a small minority of people that says, hey, I love this game, or I love this game, or I love this game. But it's not the majority. And the problem with that is that when you're trying to make money and you're trying to be a publisher, you need everybody to buy your games. So I think that they're going to laser focus on the software, better messaging. That's number one. She hired 2 new marketing people. So she hired 2 new marketing experts, whatever else. They're going to work on the messaging and stuff, simplify the situation from a very convoluted last 12 years. You know, one guy says this, then Greeny says that, then Phil says this, then Sarah comes from above and says this, and on, you know what I mean? And everybody's going, what is happening? Like, unless you're tuned in to podcasts and YouTube 7 days a week, you have no idea what the hell Xbox is doing or what they're talking about. You're just like, what are they talking about? And so people just say, you know what, this sounds too complicated. I'm just going to go buy this. I'm going to buy my box, buy my game,
Right.
put it in the garage, you know, with my couches or whatever in the basement, and that's it. And that's what people have done because it's simple. And so I think she's going to bring back the simplicity of marketing and getting out there and saying, you know, this is this is that. At the same time, also going to appease the people who are still there. For example, like the people that are going to buy Helix. That's not going to be everybody. That is for the hardcore base that will continue to carry on with hardware. And
is going to outsell the PS6.
What?
So is Helix going to outsell the PS6?
You shouldn't have said that. Someone's going to clip you. You know that, right?
You know, it's funny because somebody
said.
No, somebody said, you know, they're not a hardware company. They're never going to surpass PlayStation. They don't need to. They're competing with Steam. And then, so here's the next thing that I want to cover.
Steam is about accessibility because Steam doesn't, I mean, up until this point, doesn't make hardware. They will soon, but they're not making hardware at that point. Now, I have a question for you, by the way.
Well, that's different. Valve is a software, a game seller. They're basically a platform. But now they're going to make this console. They got the Steam machine, the Steam Deck. So they're not.
You think that's going to piss off Microsoft? Because now they're going to be like, listen, if you want Steam, it's right here on this box.
No, it won't, because Xbox, like, how well is the Steam Deck doing? Really, really well. Good, because people are buying our games on that device. So
right, accessibility once again.
Valve and Microsoft are very similar. They will sell their games, and they will sell their hardware, and they'll sell one will sell their services. So they're very similar. The problem with PlayStation is when you try to compare those, PlayStation has to sell their hardware because that's the home where most of their games are. Now, they've had games on Steam, but now they said their tentpole titles are not going to go to Steam or Epic Game Store at all. So now they have to sell hardware. Xbox has never been have to sell their hardware. They've never outsold PlayStation except for one generation with the 360, and that did not put them at the upper echelon of the gaming sphere because that's just not where they're at. So let me talk about...
Sorry, I was gonna bring one more thing before you carry on. NC630 in the chat says something interesting. He says Steam has exclusives, which is true up until this point. However,
they have like 2.
Won't that disappear? Well, I mean, are there a lot of Steam games that you just can't get on consoles? Like, there's tons. Like,
PC has games that never come to console. Yeah, of course.
Right, that never come to console.
Helix will have every single one of those.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So now they will no longer have that exclusivity. Is that going to be something that maybe Steam looks at and says, hey, you know, we kind of like everybody going over here. We don't want... But I mean, mind you, it doesn't really make a difference because if you buy a Helix, for example, you're going to be buying the games on the Steam store anyway if Steam is actually there on the box. And then they could just buy it from there. You're still getting it from Steam.
Shut up, Brett. I did not say temper titers. I said temple titles, but I was just talking really fast. Richard wild. Peter Dickerson. But... hopefully you understand this. I do not understand this next thing, Mag.
Okay,
and we're all going to work together. Chat, you're going to help me on this because when I Googled this, I did not get the right answer. But Moore's Law is Dead talked about, he's like, how is Xbox going to sell their games when they can buy them on Steam? And he said, what they'll probably do. Question. Yes, okay. This is the thing. He said what they're probably going to do is they're going to whitelist Steam and make an agreement with them and say, how about we'll give you 15%, we'll keep 15% or whatever. There'll be like some kind of compromise. And he said that Steam and Valve would be whitelisted. And as far as I understand that is that it will kind of be like a quid pro quo partnership, which will benefit Steam, Valve, their devices, and Xbox Helix. But I don't understand what the whitelisted thing is. And I wish Hargeet Chani was in the chat because he could help explain it as well. But I thought maybe you've run across this word in your business dealings and your career, or maybe you could Google it. And what do you know about this whitelisting thing?
I know what you're talking about, but I mean, I'm trying to find the motivation. Like if I was sitting in a business meeting doing this, right, and I got Santa Claus over here, and you got Usher over there on the other side, and you've got Satya over there, and everybody's talking. Okay, if I was Santa Claus, I would sit there. By the way, if anybody doesn't know who Santa Claus is, it's what's his face from Valve.
Gabe Newell.
Yeah. Just go watch one of Banana Boy's videos. He's got his face every video. He's got a face of Santa Claus on it with the glow around his face. Right there, you go. You know who I'm talking about, Santa Claus. And
knock it off, Dad.
I know he's listening. I know he's listening because he can't help but listen to greatness on this show. Anyways, the thing is he's going to sit down at the table, look them square in the eye, and say, what is my motivation for giving you 15% when I take 100? They're going to have to give him more. If they come to him, right? If Microsoft comes to Gabe and they say to him, we'll take 15%, you take 15%, he'll stop right there and go, ho, ho, ho. What is my motivation to even split this with you?
Right. Because they don't need him. Like, they don't need Xbox.
He doesn't need Xbox, and he could be a total a-hole too. He could be like, I have the numbers right here. Your hardware is minus 30 over the last whatever, and this and that. He could call up all these numbers and saying, why am I putting my stuff over there when I can make 100% and not take 15? What's my motivation for doing this? Do I need exposure? No. Am I an upstart company? No. I'm Valve. I'm Steam. I'm Santa Claus. I could do whatever I want. You know what I mean? At that point, they have to have something so compelling. And the problem is right now, I can't think of a reason that he would have to say, yeah, sure, I'll take a cut, when he could say, I could take all of it over there. And people will continue to adopt PC over time, which they have. You know what I mean? Even a lot of Xbox players have left the console space and they've gone over to PC. So I'm just looking at that going, what's the motivation? So like, I'm hoping this happens, but I'm totally confused as to, I can't find a reason why Gabe would do it.
I left out a key descriptor for this thing because I was listening to Moore's Law's video last night, working on the one that I worked on today. And he was saying that we don't know. He said, if any journalist could directly ask Asha or Matt Booty or Jason Ronald, is Steam going to be installable and launchable on the Xbox? Because no one has asked that specific question, and he said that Xbox has never come right out and said Steam. They said all your PC games. So what Moore's Law was saying is Steam going to be an actual client on the Project Helix device?
Right.
If not, and I will pull up one of the things that I searched here, it means that Steam client would run normally on the device, just like it does on my ROG Ally or my PC. I can launch Steam and I can grab all my games from there. But I can also, right now, I do this every day. I could turn on my controller on my PC, grab the game bar, go to Crimson Desert, which is on Steam, and Steam pops up in the background. The game launches. So it would mean to have hardware support, controller support, and have, Valve and Steam have a partnership where they could actually have their software directly on the device. But you make a really good point, because if they're like, hey, we'll give you 15% and we'll take 15% or whatever it is, instead of the 30, like Xbox would say, we'll just give you 15% instead of the 30% for selling our games. But you're right. Gabe Newell could just look at that and go, why would I even sign that agreement? Because I don't need to take a compromise on selling the games.
No, he doesn't. And I see Negan in the chat says it's already on the ROG Ally. The ROG Ally doesn't belong to Microsoft.
Right.
It's not an Xbox hardware. It's just a third-party partnership. It has nothing to do with Microsoft in terms of that. So that's why it's there, because Gabe will continue to get what he's getting right now through it, because it's a piece of hardware that is not tied directly to a company or a publisher. It's a whole different thing. So Now Moore's Law is Dead has brought up exactly what I brought up a couple of weeks ago, where I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Let's say they have Steam, okay, on this Helix. You got your Helix, you turn it on, whatever. You could sideload Steam, however the hell you want to do it, okay? It doesn't really matter. Let's just say it's there. Whenever there's a special on, whenever there's like sales on a game, Steam blows everybody out of the water when it comes to sales. Everybody, no one can come close to their Steam sales. The PC guys talk about them for days. Oh, I could buy, I could buy Assassin's Creed for 43 cents. You know what I mean? Whatever. And like, I mean, obviously exaggerating, but still, the point is, it's that it's there. Now, the thing is, you think about that, and you're like, well, then what would be the motivation for Xbox to have Steam there when people will be buying stuff cheaper on Steam? Because it's not like Gabe is going to be like, well, give him a better deal. No, he's going to offer the deals that they're offering. So you're taking people out of the Xbox store.
But if people buy this is a really good argument. I'm glad we're bringing this up, because if people if they buy a Helix, they are probably going to buy most of their games directly from the Xbox ecosystem. Unless it's not available, then they'll buy it on Steam.
But why though?
Woodpit says in the chat, he's not compromising. It's free money for Gabe. If Xbox says, hey, we'll give you 15% to whitelist the Steam client on the console, because what he's saying is, if people are buying games on the Xbox ecosystem, there's a small section of people, there's a small portion of people that would buy them on Xbox, so Steam wouldn't get those sales at all. So the compromise is, we can offer you a revenue from games that people buy from us because Steam is on there. So when people decide to buy a game on the Helix and they're not buying it from Steam, because you've partnered and whitelisted with us, every game that we sell, you can get a small portion of that. So that would be the free money. So when Forza Horizon 6 comes out, let's pick a game later on down the road. When Clockwork Revolution comes out, you can buy it on Steam, but a Helix owner is going to buy it from the Xbox and have their achievements and everything. And Gabe Newell's like, I get 15% of that $70 sale just because Steam is on the device. I would sign that. I would sign that immediately.
That's a whole different story, but we're not at that table, so we don't know exactly what's going on.
We don't either. There. Yeah, it's all inside.
You know what I mean? Like, so,
chat.
Like, sure. I'm very curious to find out how this all plays out. Woodpit, here's something interesting I want to bring up with you, my friend. He says it's still 30 million people. Xbox console people don't have Steam now. You're making the wild assumption that the Helix is going to sell 30 million. They're not even going to sell. They're not even going to sell 10. This comes from within Microsoft internal, saying that they target less than 10 million consoles going to be sold next gen because of the price point. So it's not 30 million people. You lost 20 something million people with that switchover, and I don't mean lost. I mean they're going to probably stick with their hardware, move to PC, or access through the cloud, whatever else that Microsoft offers,
or stay on. Yeah.
But the thing is, from that, you will not access Steam unless you buy a PC. If you're accessing Xbox through your monitor, your smart TV, whatever, you're going to get the Xbox experience. You stay with the series consoles, you're going to get the Xbox experience. You're not getting Steam on any of those. So therefore, at that point, you're now talking about 8 to 10 million maximum. So that is a whole different conversation.
I
gotta be right back. I gotta pee.
Okay.
But keep talking.
Okay.
I'm sorry, man. I can't lie. I gotta pee.
I know we're old. It's what happens.
We're old? We've been here for almost 2 hours. Hold on a second. I'll be right back.
So I'll give you like a thought experiment. Let's pretend like James Bond First Light's gonna be fairly successful. We'll pretend that it's gonna sell 3 million units across PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. So with that idea, it's like, how many are going to sell on Xbox? Well, it's a Play Anywhere title. Not that many. So if you sell 3 million copies, you're probably selling, here's my number, 500,000 copies on the Xbox. Okay, let's just say that's the number. That's 500,000 copies that Steam is not going to get any handle on, because that's a Play Anywhere title. Like, PC guys can get it there, which they probably get it on Steam anyway, but Xbox guys who are like in between PC or whatever, like that's 500,000 copies on the Xbox ecosystem. In the future, when you're looking at Project Helix being out, and I didn't know this, but they expanded another 500 Play Anywhere titles, so it's up to 1,500 Play Anywhere titles. And for those of you trying to catch up, that's when you buy the game, you get it on Xbox and PC, regardless of if it's a first-party title like Crimson Desert and James Bond are two games that Xbox doesn't own, but they signed the deal for Play Anywhere. So if Gabe Newell's looking at the future, if Steam's looking at the eventual future of, let's say 15% of every game sold will be sold on an Xbox Helix, or 10%, let's just say 10, right? Because it's not going to be super popular. Gabe Newell's looking at 10% of the games that I'm not going to sell on Steam because people are buying them on an Xbox ecosystem. I'm going to get 15% of those sales. There's a bunch of numbers I'm just throwing up in the air, but that may be something to seriously look at. Like, this is free money. No, there's no world where the Xbox handheld or the Xbox Steam machine, like Helix, is going to yeah. Let me throw this in here. I may get clipped for this, but it could be possible that the Xbox Project Helix sells more units than the Steam machine. It's more powerful, it's more capable. A lot of people are looking at a Steam machine and are like, it's kind of like a PS5, and the Helix is a little more powerful, it's more expensive, but it's got more games than ever. So what I'm saying here, Mag, is Gabe Newell could be looking at, hey, if 10% of those games are always going to be sold on Xbox, why not take 15% of every one of those games sold?
Well, then maybe it's a good deal for him. Like, maybe that's
like, would you want to sign that?
Yeah, like it wouldn't really affect me at those numbers. I'd be like, fine, you know what? It's new people, and you never know. Maybe it'll be a stepping stone for the next generation. Those people will buy a PC and then go full Steam or something. Who the hell? Full steam ahead. You know what I mean? And so, who knows? I mean, we don't know. I mean, and all we're doing here is just spitballing, having some fun. And you know what? Honestly, we are having some fun with this. I'm enjoying this conversation. It's like, because like, it's just like, we're sort of just speculating like what could happen, what they could be talking about, until of course we get actual word of what they're talking about. It's wild. It's pretty cool, man. But it's going to be a very interesting situation. However, I don't think that it's going to be as impactful as people think, because it's not going to be like I said, the Helix is going to be a very focused experience for a very I don't want to say niche. That's not fair. Discerning audience. It's going to be for people who are going to be willing to spend more money for better technology, plus Steam on top of it and everything else. They did say it was going to be a high-end boutique experience. That's not changing. That is going to be what it is. So it's going to be for a more discerning customer. So therefore, that being the case, it's not everybody. It's not going to be 65 million people now have Steam on Xbox or whatever. It's not the case. It's going to be a very small group of people. And it's going to be very cool to say. However, we still need confirmation from them that indeed all these things are happening. We haven't actually officially heard. We've heard speculation. We've heard all that. It could just be like, we don't know. We have no idea until they actually come out and say, or we hear otherwise saying, nope, it's actually coming with Steam, it's coming with Epic, it's coming with this, it's coming with that. The full PC experience is going to be there. Then we don't even know if it's going to be like a curated Windows experience. I don't know. I'm not a PC guy, but I know, obviously I know enough.
I've been diving into it quite
I don't know,
a bit.
Dude.
Sure.
It's going to be wild. It's going to be wild. That's all I know. I mean, it's going to be a wild time.
It's just something that Moore's Law said, like he's trying to, it was probably the most, it's so funny that I'm sitting here actually understanding it now when I should have done that before the show, but that's why we appreciate such an awesome chat and a great co-host like Mag, who can help me wire things together. We got to talk about the partner preview, the Xbox partner preview. It's a 30-minute show, and I thought Mag and I would give our thoughts about, how exciting this could be. But it says, the Xbox Wired article said it will be Thursday, March 26th, which is just in 3 days. And we will have partners from Sega, GSC Game World, and Owlcat Games. But what this really means for the rest of us is Stalker 2 has some big updates, a game that never ends. And The Expanse, which is like this upcoming Starfield meets Mass Effect game from the... Right. I forgot who the... we always get Exodus and The Expanse mixed up because they're both like sci-fi games. I think they both came from... I can't remember who worked on the... I wish Red was in the chat. I don't know if he's still here. But BT Maverick probably knows. BT, who's the people that worked on The Expanse? Sorry, what's it called? The Expanse. Osiris Reborn. I was asked to join in a NDA for it, and they wanted all kinds of information, and I just didn't have time. So, who makes The Expanse? Well, yeah, Owlcat, but where did they come from? Like, what studio? Weren't they don't they have a pedigree from one of your favorite games? And it's based on a TV show. Yeah. Yeah, Red Bull says Alcat. Red, who were the people, like, what did they previously work on before they formed Alcat? Like, don't they have a pedigree from something? Like, we were really super excited about this, and we're finally getting to look at it. I'm going to keep an eye on the chat here. But it says, during the partner preview, which will be 30 minutes, they'll talk about those games. They also have some new world premieres and some stuff coming to Xbox Game Pass, and it will be a live 30-minute show. So, yeah, I don't know. It sounds like, well, I would say before I ask Mag, last year's partner preview actually showed 4 or 5 interesting-looking games that I pocketed in my B-roll folder to build a video about the games that were coming because they just look super cool. So, how many games do I think Carmen says? Carmen Casimir. Let me see what it says. I'm thinking probably 6 games, maybe. Yeah, probably 6 for a 30-minute show, maybe 8 games because I think the Expanse might have a significant chunk of time. But what do you think about that, Mag? Hyped?
Yeah, like I think that there's going to be a couple of surprises there because it'll be a good way to make a splash before the summer, right? Because the Summer Games Fest is going to happen in June, so they've got basically 2.5 months before that event. I would make a little bit of a splash here. Now, when they said partnerships, also Game Pass, I think if I were a betting man, and just for fun, and I have no knowledge of this unless somebody messages me otherwise, but for fun, I would say that maybe they drop like because they have a great partnership with Ubisoft right now. They dropped Avatar, fantastic game. Star Wars Outlaws, fantastic game, by the way. If you haven't played it since all the updates, sounds like Crimson. Sounds like Crimson Desert, right? You know what I mean? It's the same idea, but great games. They may even drop AC Shadows in there. Why not?
No, okay.
At this point, it's been a year and a half. Excuse me. It's coming up on 2 years. It'll be the 2 year. I haven't even turned it on yet. I'm still waiting for the PSSR 2 update. But my wife put in 135 hours in that game, and she loved it. And I watched some of it, and that was before all the updates and stuff that came out. It looked fantastic, dude. So
I mean, there's already.
Why don't they? They have a partnership with Ubisoft.
They do.
Drop it in there.
They do.
I mean, like I said, they just dropped 2 games in Game Pass in January. My guess is if they're going to make a bit of a splash that gets people talking, you drop AC Shadows in Game Pass. That's what I would do.
Right.
That's what I would do. As like something to now. The thing is, let's also remember it's partnership video. So when people are like, "Oh, they're going to show Halo, they're going to show Gears," I'm like, that's not a partner. They own those, so it's not that. Mouse PI will make an appearance, I would imagine. No,
maybe.
Is it Mouse PI?
I mean, I don't know.
PI was first shown on an Xbox stage, was it not?
Yeah, but it's already shown. I mean, when they say, more reveals or premieres, then there'll be some games that we've never heard of that are probably fairly, small and medium in size.
It's going to be like,
but
right.
Yeah, that means something different now, Hey, Seeker, knock it off.
What is Seeker saying?
I said, like, what should I have for dinner? And I said Taco Bell, and he's like shaking my head. He hates when I go to Taco Bell because I'm a fat beluga whale. It's great. But I don't know. This just be a cool little thing. Jess Corden says, like, shout out to Colteastwood for giving him a heads up on like this partner preview thing. I actually heard that there was going to be another developer direct. So it turns out to be a partner preview. Well, that's not a very good correct guess or assumption. But there's also a rumor, pretty strong rumor, that they're returning back compat games.
Right.
The
fuzzy good one.
All of the Transformer games from the mid Xbox 360 era and even the Rise of the Darkspark, the early Xbox One title, are supposed to come out from Xbox in their back compat program, meaning that the Transformers games will rise from the ashes, but they will not be on PlayStation and they will not be on PC again. You can't get those games at all. But there's, I don't know if you guys are familiar, but there's War for Cybertron, which came out in like 2009. There's Fall of Cybertron, which came out 2010 or 11. And then there's
great game.
Dark of the Moon, which came out after the movie, which is actually pretty good because it's like the modern High Moon version of the game. It is High Moon. And then Rise of the Darkspark was pretty awful. I never played it, but I actually might play it at this point. But there's a bunch of
I
Activision
didn't play
games that are
that
going to
one.
be revived for some reason, according to these
Well, I
rumors.
mean, for some reason they bought them. You got to do something with them.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like a lot of people when ABK was bought and done, and then they went to court and all that, stuff that went on. Everybody was like, "That's it. We're getting all the Tony Hawks. We're getting all the Transformers games. All the Call of Duties are going to Game Pass." And then Phil Spencer was like, and
I retired.
Kawauki. Right? It never happened. Right,
Yeah.
and so like it didn't happen because obviously it wasn't just a legal roadblock as they were trying to acquire the company. It also was a technical roadblock, right? It's like, well, we have all these IPs and everything else. How are we going to back compat these and get these on the system? Call of Duty, they have no excuse, but the other ones they do.
The surprising thing, Mag, is that why get the Transformers games? Like, I'm like, there's no way they're going to spend money to get those licensing up to snap so they can put those games on there. But
right.
the rumor
Maverick,
sounds like they are.
There's like 15 Tony Hawk games. Like, where's the remakes are different. That's a different story. They remade those games. That's a whole different. So I'm talking about like Tony Hawk's Project 8, one of my favorites. Tony Hawk's Underground 2, like great games. They were all like the ones that I used to play back in the 360. Now, Fuzzy Belvedere said something, by the way, in the chat. Hey, Fuzzy, I haven't talked to you in a long time, dude. I hope you're doing well. He said something interesting. There's been a talk for a very long time because Stellar Blade 2 was said to be released everywhere when it comes out. It won't be a PlayStation exclusive. They will still have some development deal with them or whatever, but it will come to whatever, Helix, I guess, and then and PC and PlayStation obviously, and whatever, right? What if they did a Stellar Blade 1? I know I just did my Trump hands for everybody. I hear they're gonna be releasing Stellar Blade 1.
They should.
Fabulous ass. It's tremendous ass. Great game. Sorry, I was doing the accordion thing, so I have to do it. It's a tremendous game of 2024, best game. You've never played a game any better than that.
When
why
did
not
Mouse
Stellar
PI
Blade?
get delayed? 3 weeks ago.
Wouldn't that be something? I'm not saying it's going to happen, and I'm not trying to be like, it's not. I'm not huffing hopium. I really don't care. I played the game and platinumed it. I loved it. I'm just saying it'd be kind of cool because they already said that the second one wasn't going to be an exclusive. I'm like, why don't you throw him a bone and give him the first one, see how it does? I don't know. I'm just saying my voice is getting higher.
What they'll probably do is they'll just release the first one right before the year before the completion of Stellar Blade 2. They'll probably port it to Xbox. Yeah, I would assume, and maybe Switch too. Yeah, why not? I mean, the publishing was done under SEI, Sony Interactive Entertainment, so there's a slight possibility that they would hold on to it. But
my voice can't go that high anymore.
Yeah,
many years of drinking and smoking caused that.
So I
can't go that high anymore.
I just don't know why Death Stranding 2 doesn't have a release window for Xbox.
That'll be a while, I think, dude.
It's weird that they do the PC though. It's weird that they do the PC version, and then PlayStation has like they write in the legalese. They're like, can come out on PC 12 months later, but Xbox, it's like, why do you do that, PlayStation? And anyone who thinks that PlayStation isn't in competition with Xbox, just look at what they do.
Well,
they don't do it to show their dominance over Xbox. They do it so Xbox can't compete with them. So
it's funny. I want to. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I just think that Stellar Blade will probably get it. The first one will get a port to Xbox, and then a year later, the sequel will be ready for everybody.
I think so.
That's a good way to do it.
That would be a nice time to announce it. You don't have to announce it like it's coming out tomorrow. You could just say coming
next month. It'll be one of those real quick.
You don't even have to say when. You just say it's coming, and just as an announcement saying it's coming next month. It could be in 2027, but you could just say you don't even have to say coming soon. You can say coming to Xbox.
Yeah,
Stellar Blade. No release date. I mean, look at what PlayStation did with the God of War Greek trilogy. They just said in development. That's all they have to say, and it was enough to whip everybody into a frenzy. They got what's his name, the old voice actor back. He's standing there, he's doing his thing, and he's like, "It's early in development. It's going to be a while." These games are not coming out till late 2027. And then, by the way, I'm hearing now. By the way, I'm hearing they're splitting them up. They're going to be splitting them up into 3, and they're actually way bigger projects than they had anticipated.
That's good though. That'll be
separately.
Cool.
So they're releasing.
You remember?
Whatever, man. I don't care. Full price.
Do you remember when Jim?
I'm buying them.
You remember when Jim Ryan literally walked up to a black screen and said, here's the PS6, PS5 logo. Like, that's all he's like, and I proudly present the PS5 logo. And everyone's like,
that was so funny.
Gosh, there's like 40,000 likes on Twitter. And yeah.
I remember when Rand did the funny video when he changed the 4 into a 5 and he was playing the Dora the Explorer music. We did it. We did it. We did it. We did it.
Yeah, well, he took somebody's
That's when Rand
but
actually made content.
Yeah, I
Rand, what's happening, bro?
I remember.
What's happening? Where you at?
Hold
on. Let me check behind me. I don't see him.
Where
you at, Rand? Start making videos.
Gray Monad asks about the Rock Band style game stage tour. We talked about 2 weeks ago. I'm probably going to be dropping some serious coin on that because, like I said, our drums.
Sorry, I missed that.
On the stage tour, which is a Rock Band game made by some of the veterans of Rock Band.
Yeah. We talked about that. I'm excited.
Yeah, we're going to be buying that for sure. So
yeah.
Anyway, this has been a great show, Mag. Well, let's get the heck out of here. I'm starving. You guys, the chat's been really awesome.
I'm starving too, man.
Yeah,
I was working out, watching Landman, doing my thing, and I'm just like oh, gotta do the show. So got the kids ready for bed, came and do the show, and now I'm like watering on my microphone because when I work out, I drink a ton of water, obviously, because I have to pee.
Yeah.
And I gotta tell you, man, after like an hour and a half, 2 hours of talking, I am starving.
I know, and I sleep like a baby. I'll put on the audiobook of the Lord of the Rings, and Gandalf's in the room with Frodo telling him where the ring came from and all the research he's done.
You get sleepy after a show? I'm like wired because I'm like jacked up, like I'm ready to like kill somebody. I'm just like
ready to stab someone with a Triton. Hey, speaking of working out, let's give and a Triton. Speaking of stabbing someone with a Triton, big props to Chuck Norris, the legend, who we lost this week. Absolute legend.
The legend, the king, man, the king.
Yeah.
I did my eulogy during my live shows of Crimson Desert, and of course, I don't know if you guys knew this, but Chuck Norris actually did the eulogy at his own funeral. So he was. He did his own eulogy and then went, but it was incredible. Also, just so you also know, Chuck Norris actually carried the pallbearers.
Oh my gosh, the jokes never end. You know, they
never end. I mean, the man is a savage. He's incredible. But
hey, look at that, Yodani. Yeah. Just check that out right there. Yeah. No, I will look at the Taco Bell menu.
You're looking at the Taco Bell menu online?
Yeah, on my phone. No. When we lose legends like this, like Chuck Norris and stuff, I always think, people are like, oh, I'm going to miss him so much. I think this guy lived his life to the absolute fullest. And
literally 24 hours before, he was still training. He was still punching and like dealing with a sparring partner. He died on his feet.
Climbed a volcano the week before. He passed away.
Yeah. He died on his feet, so to speak. Like he didn't physically die on his feet, but he literally did, because instead of dying slowly for 7 months in a hospital or weeks or whatever, or slowly withering away over decades, the man was on his feet, healthy as a horse, happy, training, always in shape, ready to rock, 86. I almost said the F word. He drops, and then that's all there is to it. Like the man left the planet like a gangster.
Yeah, he did.
He just said,
amazing.
I'm done here. I'm out.
Yeah.
And like no suffering. Dude, my neighbor, she got carted away in an ambulance 7 weeks ago. We don't even know where she is.
Oh,
and
geez.
I've been watching her deteriorate for 8 years because she really didn't take care of herself and whatever else. And you're just watching it. I'm like, oh my God, man. Like just watching someone like start like declining. And then that's the other thing. That's
we're getting that age.
Dude, here's the thing. Physiotherapists and of course, trainers and stuff like that. They say they go like this: when you get old, if you don't work out and you don't take, you don't even have to take care of yourself. Work out, eat better, all that kind of stuff. You go like this when you get old, straight down. But if you work out, take care of yourself, and eat well, you are going to go down no matter what. Everybody's going to die. No one's coming out of here alive.
Well, I mean, you probably won't, but speak for other people. Go ahead.
You know what I mean? When you work out and do all that kind of stuff, you're going to go out.
Oh, you're talking about your
you know what I mean? Not my pee-pee. I'm talking about
not your peony.
Okay.
Hey,
you're gonna
Meg.
you're going to gradually go down as opposed to off a damn cliff because all of a sudden, you know what I mean?
Meg, do you call them peonies or peonies, the flowers?
I don't call those flowers anything.
That's what I like to hear. That's a true man right there. Red Wolf says Chuck Norris once told a woman to calm down, and she did.
Goddamn right he did.
One last one from Mr. Broke Boy, good friend of the show. Thanks for the 5. He says, Chuck didn't die. God missed an appointment with him. Chuck went to have a talk. Have a good night, you all. Everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with the show. Congrats to Mag for 3 years of absolute torture
wild, dude.
Of this show. But dude, you have been an amazing godsend, and I love having you on the show. And we have talked about some epic stuff on the show. We have a really great audience. Thank you so much. Hit the like button. Meg, tell everybody what to expect. I have a little sales pitch before I go. Let them know what's up.
Be quick. Well, first of all, thank you for 3 years. And I got to tell you, man, you know what's wild to me is that over these 3 years, you start thinking about it, you realize I think I've talked to this man more than I talked to my wife. Like it's crazy when you think about it, but it's totally true.
Sorry.
I mean, she works into the night or whatever else. I see her in the morning here and there. We have a conversation, but I don't sit there and talk to her for 2.5 hours. You know what I mean? So I'm sitting there. I'm like, I talk to Colt more than I talk to her, and it's wild, man. But anyways, yes, thank you. It's been an amazing 3 years, and I honestly look forward to many more. I ain't going nowhere, and we ain't going anywhere, and we sure as hell ain't retiring. And if we do retire, we're retiring on YouTube. We're going to be old men on here one day. Yeah, man. We're just going to keep going. Yep. And anyways, MAGcast tomorrow night, 8:45 Eastern on my channel, 8:45 p.m. Eastern. And at the end, I will have other videos coming out this week. I'm also working on my cooking video that's for March. That's coming. I'm cooking this week. It should be out by the end of the week. And then on top of that, of course, Friday Night Live, I will be going back to Crimson Desert and continuing the adventure. Although it was in doubt for a while because I almost uninstalled it because I was going to smash my consoles and my controllers. But you know what, man? I've gotten back into it, and all the quality, not all, but a lot of the quality of the life changes happened, and I'm just like, this game is so much better, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it now. So can't wait to get back into it. So yeah, busy week, man. We got a lot of stuff going on the channel. So yes, we'll see you guys. Thank you guys so much for being so nice to me, and even the ones who were not so nice to me. I love you too. It doesn't.
I think
matter
they came around.
It's all jokes, and we're all having a good time. Yeah, we rib each other. It's all good, man. So anyway, good night, guys. We'll see you guys all next week, or I'll see you all tomorrow night on MAGcast. Whoever wants to come by.
Thank you so much. Keep an eye out for my channel at 7 a.m. Pacific time, or I don't know what that is, like 2 in the afternoon in the UK. Well, I'm going to have a big video. I spent a lot of time, a lot of research breaking down the cost of next generation consoles, and the results will actually shock you. And this is going to be a really great video. I'm super excited for you guys to watch it. It'll be out tomorrow, and we'll just move on from there. More Crimson Desert for me, because I'm absolutely loving the game. It's a cozy, warm hug. Beating up green goblins and stuff, and riding around on my horse. I like my horsey, and my horsey likes me. Thank you guys so much. Hit the like button on the way out. We'll see you next week. Subscribe to MAGG and get some 4XP. We'll be talking about them next week. They're awesome. MAGG, I don't know where the program is. It's right here. All right, bye. Bye-bye. Thank you for coming. Bye-bye. Thank you. Welcome in.